be a record, exceeding the $12.2 billion that was spent in 2023. California, with an average gas price of $4.64 per gallon of regular, represents the most expensive price in the U.S., according to the AAA. In Bakersfield, the current price is $4.59 a gallon. A year ago, it was a penny more at $4.60 a gallon for regular gas at the pump. I'm John Shearer in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You got to get a post like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for, live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing. For those subscribing on YouTube, it is the Ralph Bailey Show on a hump day, Wednesday, 8th day of October. We had a really, really busy broadcast. There is lots going on. As I'm sure many of you may have heard by now, we are close to peace. The Gaza peace plan is being discussed amongst the Israelis and Hamas. The president may be leaving for Egypt to seal the deal as early as this weekend. We'll unravel that. Speaking of unraveling, the leading contendant for the gubernatorial race unraveled in a CBS interview. Katie Porter, who has always been rumored to be a mean-spirited broad, and I mean that as negatively as I can, although broad is not a negative term, ladies. But in this case, it is. We'll give you the audio of how she stormed out of a CBS interview that the questions were posed to all of the candidates. And yet it was Katie Porter who blew her top and did the proverbial take off the mic and walk off the set. I think she's cooked. We'll delve into that. It is Wednesday, so Howard Marcus will be here. And the governor has signed a law that on the face, I forgot his little Jesus. Does he
Buddy Christ.
Does he carry Jesus with him?
Mine.
Huh? That's not yours?
No, it's mine.
That's what I'm saying. You left your little Jesus. See, I carry Jesus in my heart.
Don't you start.
I don't need a little symbol. I have Jesus in my soul.
Don't you start.
You see, I need to go to church. I really go to. Are you still going to church every Sunday?
Yeah, he's a better Catholic than we are.
Yeah, you're gonna be in Sin City this Sunday. I know that, so I don't want to hear about it. But I need to go back to church. I haven't gone to church since Monsignor left St. Francis. Oh, that's not true. That's not true. I went twice with trying to be that guy a couple of months ago, or maybe about a year ago. But regardless, he signed into law as the governor, something that on face seems like it's helping folks, but I don't think in the long run it will. He signed a law that mandates that renters have to provide rentees refrigerators. And California leads the way in apartment buildings that don't provide refrigerators. Did you have a refrigerator?
Does that mean like right now? Because my renter did not give us a
Well, no, I don't think it's retroactive that you can go back and they have to give you a fridge.
That's why I'm asking. Like,
no, it takes effect January 1st. Me too, because I had to buy a used refrigerator. I hate my refrigerator.
Right.
I hate my refrigerator. The freezer doesn't freeze as much as it should, and the fridge isn't as cold, but it does the job, and I don't cook, so what difference does it make? But yeah, it would have been nice. I remember Lori and I went out to Oildale and bought that thing for $125.
That's a good deal.
And I've had it for 12, 13 years. Little Lori. The refrigerator, not Lori. And of course, we'll preview tonight's. I'm not even gonna mush. I was gonna say something, but I won't say it. Game 3 of the Dodgers Phillies. Yoshinobu Yamamoto taking the bump for us, and Aaron Nola going for the Dodgers. The Dodgers are 165 to 100 favorite, meaning that if you wanted to win $100, you have to put up 165. And the StatCast they do, percentage of winning, we have a 74% chance of winning. I don't see us losing with Yamamoto on the bump, but I don't see us sweeping the Phillies either. I'm in a
Conundrum?
No, you're not in a conundrum. You're having, well, I guess you'd be in a conundrum. But the funniest thing is the Philly radio people. I just stole a couple of, I don't think I sent any of it to you, did I?
No, I didn't get something.
I've got some on my phone that is just there. It's
over.
But that's what they're saying.
It's over.
Like, how can you say that?
It's over. It's okay.
Uniformly, the radio guys are like, and we want Rob fired, and Castellano is an idiot, and then why did he go on the radio? What's your guy's name? Nick Castellanos? Castellanos, whatever, and say, Philly's a tough place to play because, if you screw up, they're going to boo you.
Yep.
So now the radio guys are like, oh, so it's our fault that you guys are underperforming, and they just went off on the Phillies. It's like, wow, those markets.
That's why
Philly, New York, Boston, those markets are just.
That's my thing, though. See, when other teams go down and they need to rally, you won't usually hear from the main guys saying, you know what, that's on us. We're going to do this. Job's not done. Have you heard that from any of them? Have you heard that from Kyle Schwarber or Bryce Harper or anybody?
Well, they've
given up. It's done. It's over.
What are they, 2 for 19
amongst the? It's over. It's done. Just blow it up. It didn't work, and that sucks. But we got to move on. Figure something out.
Well, we'll see. It's Yoshinobu Yamamoto tonight. We'll see what's going on, and I've got some other miscellaneous news and notes to get to. But I don't even know what to lead with. Really, I guess the most exciting news is because we've got to get into day 8 of the shutdown as well, and what Republicans are now saying. Republicans are joining me in demanding or at least believing that Republicans should embrace the idea of the Affordable Care Act subsidies being renewed and being renewed soon. As most of you who receive employer-provided health insurance know, open enrollment begins in weeks. Well, next month, November, early December, and then it takes effect January 1st. But you don't enroll January 1st. You enroll at the end of, obviously, this year for your 26 insurance. So the clock is ticking, and I think the Republicans are very, very comfortable in their position. They think this is a Democratic shutdown, and the problem is the Democrats believe they have leverage because it does impact healthcare. But I think at the end of the day, the Democrats are on the short end of the debate simply because they have long signed CRs, clean continuing resolutions in the past, and separated different arguments or different pieces of legislation completely separate from the CR. That's why it's called a clean CR, where neither side is throwing in little amendments and little things that they want to get because you can stick it in there because you have to keep the government going. So if we stick this in there and they don't sign it, then it's on them. And then you get into this chicken game, and normally somebody veers off. But in this case, it still remains eyeball to eyeball. So we'll see what happens with that. But the Gaza deal broke early this morning, where all 3 networks, Fox, MSNBC, and CNN, were reporting that Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, are in, God, I really don't know where they are. I would guess they are in Qatar. I know the president is going to Egypt if and when this thing is signed. But give me a dateline. Just look up the Hamas-Gaza plan and give me a dateline.
That's all I'm working on. Give me 1 second.
I'm guessing they're in Qatar, maybe Egypt. Although no, Hamas wouldn't go to Egypt. They'd go to Qatar, though. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But that's huge news. That's huge news. And of course, the right will be pushing for Donald Trump to receive his Nobel Peace Prize if this thing is pulled off, which, is a very good argument that he deserves it. Remember, Obama got his Nobel Peace Prize like the third day in office or something ridiculous. But we'll see what happens. But that is really, really good news. And when we come back, let's go and take our first break. When we come back, we will get into some of the problems that the shutdown is causing. Just as I'm about 96 hours away from getting on a tube going 600 miles an hour right into a nor'easter. But other than that, I'm really looking forward to the trip. And I mean that sincerely. But I'm not worried about flying out of Bakersfield, obviously, but with more and more air traffic controllers calling in sick, there have been delays. We're going into Baltimore International. They've had some problems in Nashville. I heard in Indianapolis. These guys aren't getting checks. We'll talk about that when we come back. Then at the bottom of the hour, we'll get into the Katie Porter meltdown. We've got some audio to show you or let you listen to. Howard Marcus at 4 o'clock. And a bunch of other stuff that we'll get to before 6 o'clock. When it's Dodger time, 6:08. I'm out of here at 5:45. I don't know about you. Out of here in an Uber on my way downtown.
You'll be hearing Howard Marcus.
Oh, God dang it. I didn't DVR.
Uh-oh.
I always forget that. It's not on Sportsnet. It's on TBS. I missed the first inning or two.
Oh, I mean, you don't think I'm going to turn it on in here?
Yeah, but it starts at 6:08. I'll be in a car.
Oh, true. Yeah, you're right. You're young.
Quick break. Just getting started on a Wednesday. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
On the next Armstrong and Getty show, man, is our estranged father country Britain screwed up. One of their leading politicians appears to be on the Russian payroll, and another one covered up a Chinese spy scandal to hold on to power.
And is Hamas going to actually say okay to this deal or not? How quickly is it going to fall apart? We'll have the very latest on that and all the other news of the day on the next Armstrong and Getty show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hey, everybody, it's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. It's time again for Subaru Loves Pet Month. For the past few years, Sangera Subaru has supported the Bakersfield SPCA's efforts to increase adoption during the month of October. Last year, the Bakersfield SPCA had a total of 73 cats and dogs, all adopted. This year's goal, 100 animals adopted. Plus, Wednesday, October 22nd, Subaru celebrates their 7th annual National Make a Dog's Day. We invite all dog enthusiasts to do something special for their furry friends or maybe consider either adopting or fostering a dog. In addition, the SPCA holding a low-cost microchip and vaccination clinic Saturday, October 25th. I'll only miss first 2 innings. I'll be home by 6:20. It's not that big a deal. Sangera Subaru in supporting this worthwhile cause during the Subaru Loves Pet Month. Sangera Subaru paving the way for a better community.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MILE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MILE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MILE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Here's the tale of the Daily Medfield. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings Wrangler rode in. Cool as can be at GoodRx. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little laugh does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 K.
A couple of years back where I had to check into a hotel. It was the middle of summer, and I hung with it till it got to about 80. I remember I left the house. It was 86 degrees in my house, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I tried the washcloth because they were coming the next morning, and I tried the washcloth on the chest and just lay and just keep with the wash. I was like, no, I gotta go check in the hotel. I checked in the hotel, and they were there the next morning, hooked me right up. I had some fan belt problems, blah, 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 and we were back on the air. And as the guy was leaving, he was saying, are you the Ralph Bailey? I said, no, my dad's the Ralph Bailey, but I'm a Ralph Bailey. And he said, were you the Ralph Bailey I listened to on the radio? I probably. And now, after many years, they're part of the team. I love that. I always talk about that my sponsors are people that I truly, truly believe in because I use them. Casey Steakhouse, Luigi's, Daniel Petrie, I'm a client. I mean, these are people that I don't do this for the dollar. Well, in part. 842-537-6, our phone number, 842-KERN. So there has been a problem with air traffic controllers not showing up. And can you blame them? I mean, I think there's certain gigs like cops and nurses and doctors and ambulance drivers, etc., that it's kind of difficult to walk away from the gig, even if you're not getting paid. They are going to see their final check on the 14th. It'll be a partial check for the month of October, and then they're expected to get paid again on the 28th, and they ain't getting it. And now Donald Trump is talking about not reimbursing people, and Donald, just please be quiet. Because if it gets as long as the 2018 shutdown, that thing went on for 35 days. And I just don't see TSA and air traffic controllers and all the people that aren't getting paid just volunteering and working, particularly when you hear the President of the United States saying that you may not get repaid, which is against the law. He's just talking nonsense. But the National Air Traffic Controllers Association released this statement. NACA does not endorse, support, or condone any federal employees participating in or endorsing a coordinated activity that negatively affects the capacity of the national airspace system or any other activities that undermine the professional image and reputation of the people we represent. I'm scared to death. No, not really. Not really. Because I imagine the only issue you would have is once you're on the ground. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's really no, but air traffic controllers, by definition, are the traffic cops of air traffic. Ralph Bailey, super genius. Thank you. Thank you. But so far, that's not been the issue. The real issue is, there's a Delta flight that collided, last week? I think it was before the shutdown, but we've been seeing that going on with the traffic controllers. But I don't think there's been any problem. The Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, where we're headed in, has not been any of the airports. I saw Nashville, I saw Indianapolis, I saw a couple of other cities, but Baltimore or Washington is not on the list. We are heading into some bad weather. Is Honor Flight 52 is taking off on Monday. The good news is the majority of the rain is going to be on Monday, and the fellas and the women that are going, and there are women on this trip. Lily sent me the complete list, and throughout the next couple of days before we get out of here, I'll be breaking that down to you periodically. But we do nothing on Monday. They get in, they get the guys comfortable, and the ladies, they feed them, tell them what they're up for on Tuesday, which is the big day. And on Tuesday, it's going to be 71 degrees and sunny with a 30% chance of rain. So that means 70% chance that it won't rain. And again, we got to deal with the shutdown. And the only issue, again, for the veterans will be the bathrooms. The public bathrooms will not be in service. Most of the memorials, if not all, are outside. In particular, the obviously the World War II memorial, obviously Mr. Lincoln is out in the open. The Vietnam Memorial is out in the open. The Korean memorial, they're all in the same mall area, so they're all outside. We visit Franklin Roosevelt. I'm not sure about Arlington National Cemetery. Although, since that is military, I would assume that would be open as well. Yeah, they would have to be, because those guys, the changing of the guard and all of that is done 365. Whether they're getting paid or not, whether it's winter, cold, doesn't matter what the weather is, 365. Those kids are out there changing the guard at Arlington National Cemetery, which is one of the big events. Although I bet the Women's Museum, which is indoors and is more, it's got like a souvenir shop and everything, I bet that won't be open, which is unfortunate, because we do have women on this trip. And when we do have women, we normally go by that, which is also located near the Arlington National Cemetery. So other than that, I don't think we're going to have any real problems. I really don't. And travel-wise, I'm exaggerating. I'm a little frightful flying into rain. As long as there's no thunder and lightning, I'm okay. But meantime, I don't have time to get into this, do I? I really don't. But the fundraiser is coming up this Thursday. Hope you will help us out with that. This is our 9th year. And in the 8 years, as we've talked about, you guys have helped us raise over $300,000. I think it's close to $325,000. And we've sent more than 150 veterans to Washington. And Jen Bowden, who is lurking outside the door, to talk to me about something, is going to join me. We'll be on the morning show on Friday morning talking about the fundraiser and obviously the trip. And so hope you tune in for that. We get to meet Lauren Holcomb, and I've met Mr. Vasquez. I think he played in our golf tournament one year with one of my favorite people, DJ Derek Jeffries, his boss. But we hope to raise $50,000 and certainly hope you'll help us out. You guys always do. You come through like champions. Started as a lark. Started as JR and I throwing in $100. Somehow it got back to Kevin McCarthy's office. He threw in $1,000. That first year we raised $17,000. And the most we've ever raised was $60,000 a couple of years ago. And 2 years ago, you raised $53,000 and we paid for the entire Native American flight. It's an amazing community, is it not? Back half of the first hour of the show. I would stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Thank you.
With SRN News, I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. As the government shutdown continues, staffing shortages have led to more flight delays. A travel industry analyst says the risk of significant disruptions is growing by the day as federal workers whose jobs are deemed critical continue working without pay. In Virginia, former FBI Director James Comey pleaded not guilty to lying to Congress 5 years ago. His trial is tentatively set for January. Authorities have charged a 29-year-old man with igniting the January fire that destroyed the Pacific Palisades neighborhood in L.A. That fire killed 12 people, destroyed nearly 7,000 homes and buildings. Counter-terrorism police in Britain say that the assailant in last week's attack on a synagogue in Manchester that left 2 people dead had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group. Wall Street, the Nasdaq was up 255. This is
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm John Shearer. The Bakersfield Police Department wants help from the public in identifying a man suspected in a vandalism case in southwest Bakersfield. Police say the man allegedly caused damage at a residence in the 5900 block of Foss Ridge Court in late August. He's described as 6 feet tall, about 20 years old, reportedly was wearing a black shirt over his face, black gym shorts, and white shoes. Anyone with information is asked to call the Bakersfield Police Department. California, with an average gas price of $4.64 per gallon of regular, represents the most expensive price in the U.S., according to the AAA. In Bakersfield, the current average price is $4.59 a gallon. A year ago, it was a penny more at $4.60. I'm John Shearer in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Attention, Medicare beneficiaries here in Kern County. If you are eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond original Medicare benefits coverage, and understanding these coverage differences may be confusing. Call us today at 661-554-4544. Let us help you understand your healthcare options for 2025. Call today, 661-554-4544. That's 661-554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544, TTY 711.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, we'll be joined by Dr. Corey Gonzalez. He will put his psychology degree up against my life coaching certificate. We are going to do football picks with a listener and 2 random idiots, plus news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Ohio. How many states have you visited, Chris?
It's a good question. County?
Oregon, I've been to Washington, I've been to California, I've been to Nevada, I've been to Arizona, I've been to Colorado, I've been to Kansas.
Ooh, good. Nice.
Yeah, on this last trip when we stopped in Wichita. Technically,
That's
I
actually what I
was
was just
there.
asking. Are we counting
Yes.
drop downs? Oh,
Yes.
I've been in at least 10.
Yes, because that means I've been to Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I never got off the plane, but I was at O'Hare.
Multiple
So I've
places
been in
Texas.
Illinois. I've driven through Texas. Let me go through that. New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama,
I've been to Oklahoma.
Mississippi. I've been to Oklahoma, Tulsa, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Virginia, Maryland.
You know, now I'm thinking about it,
Delaware.
I think I'm stopped out at 7. Now I'm thinking about it. 7 seems right.
I think I'm at 30. I had a producer. Yeah, I think so.
Nice.
Count them up. All right. California,
Yeah.
Nevada, Arizona,
Colorado,
New Mexico, Colorado, Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New York.
That's 20.
I think that's about it.
Idaho, Iowa.
No. Really?
I'm just throwing them out there.
No.
Montana. I can't just throw it out there.
No.
Let's see. No, yeah, I think that's it. That's about all of them that you mentioned.
Yeah. I've never been.
Missouri? Did we say Missouri? You've been to St. Louis.
Oh, Missouri. Thank you.
Philadelphia.
I said Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just naming off cities now that you're headed to, and I'm like, no, you've already counted that one.
No, I've already been to Pennsylvania.
21. I'd say 21.
842-537-6842-KERN. So Katie Porter, first of all, I got to give you the backstory on Katie Porter. She was a congressman out of Orange County, as I'm sure many of you know. But much like Kamala Harris, there's always rumors about different legislators and how they relate to their staff. And there were rumors going on about Kamala. Remember, like in the first 8 months, members of her staff were quitting, which is absolutely unheard of, because you want to hang on for at least a year and a half, 2 years, so you can write a book. My experience working for the Vice President of the United States, you could title it A Heartbeat Away and make a fortune. You know what I'm saying? But Kamala's people were leaving after 6 months, and she got this reputation of being a horrible boss. Well, the same thing was said of Katie Porter, that she was just a mean-spirited, angry, nasty woman. She allegedly fired a staffer because the staffer gave Katie Porter COVID, which I say that allegedly because if that's true, either there was a settlement or there had to have been some kind of lawsuit, because I'm pretty sure that's against the law, or maybe the staffer couldn't prove it. Then in her divorce, she allegedly threw a pot of hot potatoes on her husband, or now ex-husband, which, is the Caucasian Al Green, For the Caucasian members of our audience, what would I call Al Green?
What do you mean? Like in
what type of singer?
R&B?
R&B singer Al Green once had hot grits poured on him by an angry ex in his bathtub. So the white version apparently is a bowl full of hot potatoes that she poured on her husband. So she's been labeled or categorized as a mean-spirited person. You saw what she did during the Schiff Senate race, where she was pissed at Schiff because Schiff was ignoring her and was pumping up Steve Garvey, which, and I hate to have to say something smart about Adam Schiff, but it was brilliant. Because Schiff knew just based on our one-party state, I have a better chance of beating Steve Garvey, a Republican, or any Republican for that matter, than I would any other Democrat. So it was a brilliant move, but Porter cried and whined and moaned, and she's just an angry old battle axe. I'm sorry. And that's not a sweeping condemnation of women. It's a condemnation of this woman. Well, now she was reportedly at least in some of the most recent polls, leading this gargantuan gaggle of gubernatorial candidates. Gargantuan gaggle of gubernatorial. That is brilliant writing. You guys, I forget you. Anyway, she was polling at 17%. As I pointed out about a month ago, Riverside Sheriff Chad Bianco, the Republican, was polling at 10. Xavier Becerra is at 9. SH. Steve Hilton, the other Republican, is at 6. Antonio Villaraigosa is at 4. And Rick Caruso, who now identifies as a Democrat, he's really a Republican, but he can't be anything in Los Angeles as a Republican, so he switched gears, but he's really a Republican. And he hasn't even announced, and he's beating Betty Yee and Tony Thurmond and Tony Atkins and Elaine Karnalakis, whatever her name is, who aren't even showing up. But this audio and this behavior, I think, yeah, we're a year and a couple of months away or a month away. We're 13 months away, I grant you. But this is no way. Listen to this interview she did with a CBS investigative reporter.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election? Yes. If you're me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case?
Is that it? Is that it?
Did you want the whole thing? Because you had me break it up into two. That's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What else you got? This is the part I love.
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered.
I don't care. I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there. And we're just going to circle around.
I'm an
I've never
investigative
had to do
reporter.
this before, ever.
You've never had to have a
end an
conversation
interview.
with
To end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make.
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you either. I would love to continue to ask these questions so that we can show our viewers what every candidate feels about every one of these issues that they care about. And redistricting is a massive issue. We're going to do an entire story just on the responses to that question. And I've asked everybody the same follow-up questions.
She's cooked. Absolutely cooked. Xavier Becerra has already put out a release. I didn't write it down, but he said something to the effect that I hope to serve all Californians. I hope to get all Californian votes. I'm not looking at just getting Democratic votes. I mean, they're going to, and particularly because she is the front runner, and you've got, like I said, you've got 2 Republicans that she's going up against, plus she's going up against Becerra and Antonio Villaraigosa, and Rick Caruso hasn't even announced, and Tony Atkins, and Tony Thurmond, the superintendent of schools, and Elaine Karnalakis. In other words, she's got 7 or 8 or 9 people all going to target her because she's the front runner. You got to take down the front runner. And now she just gave them ammunition that they will use for the next 13 months. That she doesn't have they'll say that she doesn't have the temperament to serve. And they'll point out that's why she lost to Adam Schiff. That's why she was beaten by a Republican. Oh, they've got so much ammo on this broad. If I'm running Xavier Becerra, Tony Atkins, or Elena Karnolakis, or any other candidate's campaign, that's how I approach it. This broad couldn't beat Steve Garvey. And you really think she's going to vie for governorship? And you saw this video where she couldn't answer questions that every other candidate in the race answered. All the follow-ups that young lady posed, every single candidate, including the two Republicans, answered. But Katie Porter, as she said herself, I am me. I am me. I am not any of them. And they're going to point that out, Katie, that, yeah, you are a whole lot different than the rest of us, because the rest of us would have had the temperament and the wherewithal to come up with a cogent answer. As opposed, I'm not doing this. I'm not. I'm out. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? You just, and on television, you walked out of a TV. This thing has gone viral. She is done. Stick a fork in her. I don't care. It's going to be 13 months away. You watch the next poll. That's what's going to be interesting. Does Chad Bianco, who is in second place, emerge as the front runner? Wouldn't that be interesting? And what would Steve Hilton do, the other Republican, if, in fact, Chad Bianco starts to emerge? Because Bianco is beating Hilton by just 4 or 5 points. But if he picks up 4 or 5 of Katie Porter's people and he jumps to, say, 15, 16%, and the second person is Becerra at 8 or 9, does Hilton get out and try to clear the field for a Republican? That's the first. If I'm Chad Bianco, that's my first call. Hey, Steve, I don't know if you saw, but I jumped up in the polls, man, and I think I can win this thing with your help. But if we are in this thing together, we're going to split the Republican vote, and there's no way one of the two of us is going to get there. And you know what Steve Hilton's going to say, don't you, Chris?
Get out of my way.
Yeah, good answer. I was going to go with go pound sand, but that's a good answer. He's going to go, oh, is that right? Is that right? Okay, nice talking to you. Let's go. Well, what's our next campaign stop? Are you kidding me? But, I mean, you still got to make the call if you're Bianco. You still got to say, dude, you're not going to win.
One of the two of you's got to back down.
Yeah, one of us has got to back down. And it's 24-10 in the fourth quarter, my brother. Let's face it. And he's going to be like, that's right, and strange things happen, and I'm not leaving. Peace out. But it'd be nice if we could have some, who knows? Who knows? Because I'm not even sure Hilton really, he's an open-minded, free-speaking commentator. I just saw him on, it must have been Fox yesterday. I'm not even sure he really wants to be governor. I don't know. Who knows? But I just got such a kick out of this, because she is so predictable. I've been following her career ever since, because you don't understand what a culture shock it is for a kid who grew up in Los Angeles in the 70s and the 80s to see Orange County go Democratic. Never seen anything like it. Because when I was a kid, there wasn't a Democrat to be found south of Long Beach. You know what I'm saying? It was all Newport Beach and all of Orange County was all completely red. And now to see this woman, so I've been following her career for a long time, and she's just an irascible, just not a nice lady. She's just not a nice lady. And on some levels, the one thing about Ronald Reagan that everybody understated and underrated and didn't give him enough love for is that he's just a likable guy. He was just a likable guy, and he was able to communicate that likability. That is gargantuan in politics. You know who else had that skill? Barack Obama had that skill. I know it didn't appeal to a lot of you guys, but I didn't vote for the man, but I always liked him. I always thought he was a class act, and I just liked the way he stood tall and walked, and that is gargantuan in politics. And when you don't have that and you have the reverse, you're kind of unlikable, Adam Schiff comes to mind. That's why I can't understand how the hell he won that center race, but all right, fine. And Katie Porter's another one. She's done. She's through. She's cooked, as is this segment as we move along. We'll take a short time out and come right back. Coming up at the top of the hour, our former federal agent Howard Marcus will join us. We will talk about Bill 628. If you're a new renter in the year 2026, you don't have to buy yourself a refrigerator. But I'll tell you some of the downsides as well. We now know, just some crazy miscellaneous news that I threw on the rundown, what may have caused the end of Yellowstone. No, not the park, the show. We'll delve into that. And I have new news on the future for many of the cast members that have not been killed off yet. We'll get into that. And we are, hour 20 minutes away from game 3. Yoshinobu Yamamoto taking the bump against the Philadelphia Phillies. Big night for Dodger baseball tonight. Roki, it could be an all-Japanese night tonight, Chris. 7 2/3 of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and then Blake Trinan, whose mother is Japanese. No, I made that up. And then Roki Sasaki to end the series. Quick time out. It's TRBS on a Wednesday on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM.
Casey.
Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. The shutdown situation. Republicans are.
It still talks about the WHO dancers and stuff like that.
Good.
The priorities. How long is this thing going to go? Plus, Trump's showdown with Chicago and Portland. He wants to help provide security and safety. They don't want that. Not a big surprise there. We'll talk about it on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You guys know that I'm not a really big fan of Halloween, but can we at least admit that at the end of the night, it's really about a risque evening of ladies wearing kitty cats and police uniforms and the dirty nurse, et cetera, et cetera. Well, that team is picked up at Casey's Steakhouse because on October 31st, Cassie Biddle is throwing a 1001 night party, which is going to skip the costume party and join them for dinner and a belly dancing show. It's going to be a great night with a 5-course meal, 2 craft cocktails, and photos with the belly dancers who'll be performing on F Street for 3 hours that night. Tonight, you may not want to miss October 31st, obviously Halloween night, beginning at 6:30 on F Street at KC Steakhouse. Longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Bakersfield Brunch Fest is coming to the Kern County Fairgrounds Saturday, October 11th. Your all-inclusive ticket gets you access to an assortment of brunch bites paired with bubbles and mimosas, along with a variety of beer, wine, cocktails, and spiked seltzers. Bakersfield Brunch Fest is brought to you by Mango Cart. Don't wait to get your ticket. This event will sell out. Tickets are on sale now. To learn more about this event, go to bakersfieldbrunchfest.com. Secure your spot for a brunch experience you'll never forget. Bakersfield, you can brunch with us.
Cashback is. I said I could see that. That could be the case.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back.
No, it's like media credentialed people get to go and actually cover it. So we're going to be allowed in and actually get to be there for the ceremony.
A pregame deal?
Yeah.
You're excited about that?
I mean, get to go cover Eric Allen for a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you see a lot of old Raiders.
That's what I'm saying.
That'll be cool.
Get some audio and stuff from the actual source.
Yeah, Tim Brown and all those guys will come
Heck
back.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MILE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code.
I don't know. That's my weird thing. I love going to this type of stuff.
Really? See, I don't
Yeah.
like that kind of crap.
I'll sit there and talk
That's
to an athlete for
ceremonial
an hour
crap.
just about stupid stuff.
Listening to speeches and
I like
Mark
that.
Davis is going to get up there and
Yeah, Mark Davis is definitely going to be up there. You know that.
Needs change tomorrow.
And his
The Medicare
girlfriend.
annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the
Two 537-6842 KERN. I just had a flashback. So, yeah, can't get it. What do you got on the board? We got a couple of minutes for Mr. Marcus.
Ralph, what we really need is 3 or 4 more Democrats to run for governor.
3 or 4 more Democrats?
I'm assuming they need to dilute the number of votes going to each of them.
Yeah, no, that I mean, if they're big name Democrats, the big name Democrat that everybody thinks is going to get in, and in particular now that the front runner has, I was going to say stubbed her toe, but broken her ankle, is Alex Padilla, who has only been in the Senate for 10 minutes. But what would you rather do, run a state or be one of 100? So I am telling you now, I guarantee Alex Padilla will announce somewhere probably after the holidays, or maybe pre-holiday, or maybe after they figure out the shutdown, but Alex Padilla is going to get in this race. Katie Porter is a lightweight, and all the other candidates are lightweights, absolute lightweights. Xavier Becerra is probably the strongest candidate of the Democrats. But I mean, Antonio Villaraigosa, really? Are you serious? I mean, he's become the Greg Tatum of Los Angeles. He runs for everything. And he hasn't won anything since he was mayor. And since we found out that he's made up his last name, his real name is Tony Villa. His ex-wife was Ragosa. So he thought it'd be a good idea to combine the two names. Okay, but that's beside the point. He was just a horrible politician. Elena Kornelakis, has anybody heard of this woman? Tony Atkins, has anybody heard of this person? Tony Thurman, the African-American superintendent of schools of the state of California. If you're not a teacher, have you heard of this man? No. But Alex Padilla, and you probably, not a whole lot of you have heard of Alex Padilla, but you probably heard of him more than any of them. So I suspect he's going to jump in. And he'd be tough for Chad Bianco to take on. Bianco can beat Porter. Porter is so incredibly beatable, but I don't think she's a factor any longer. I really don't. I think this isn't a stub of the toe. I think this is an absolute breaking of the leg. That you this early, 13 months before election, and you can't handle a simple interview by some 28-year-old reporter straight out of Arizona State? Really? Where do you get up to Sacramento, have to deal with Eitan Wallace and Jenny Ha and some of the veteran reporters that are lifetimers in Sacramento, let alone those two sharks? Are you kidding? No, she's done. She's cooked. The only big question for us is, can Bianco get some traction? Can he take advantage of this? If I'm running Bianco's campaign, I'm running TV ads today highlighting this interview and then showing Bianco in a uniform Some people just don't have the temperament for leadership. Leadership, as Ralph Bailey points out, is not something that you can learn. It's not something that you're taught. You're either a leader or you're not. And I've been leading the Riverside County Sheriff's Department for X amount of years. I'm a natural-born leader, and I will lead the great state of California. And I should have Ralph Bailey writing my speeches for me. We head into the 4 o'clock hour. We head up the hill to bring in our former federal agent, Howard Marcus. Then you'll hear from Donald Trump on, did I play it already?
No.
We'll hear from Donald Trump on the Gaza situation. And Marjorie Taylor Greene breaks with Trump. I'll explain. But first, Howard Marcus is next.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERN.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. There's still no agreement in Congress on how to reopen the government. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is pinning the blame on Republicans for the 8-day shutdown.
It's not Democrats who are threatening to fire people or threatening to withhold back pay. It's the Republican side, Donald Trump, saying all of this, and the American people know it and will blame them for these mass firings and chaos.
At the same time, Senate Majority Leader John Thune says Democrats falsely claim that they have a way to reopen the government.
They've got a bill, a proposal that they say keeps the government open, that can't pass the Senate, wouldn't pass the House, and wouldn't be signed into law by the president. You tell me who is responsible for the government shutdown.
Former FBI Director James Comey appeared in court today facing charges that he lied to Congress 5 years ago.
He pled not guilty at the brief arraignment. That plea will kickstart a process of legal wrangling in which defense lawyers will almost certainly move to get the indictment dismissed before trial, possibly by arguing the case amounts to a selective or vindictive prosecution.
Correspondent Mike Pasoli says a trial has been tentatively set for January. Authorities have charged a 29-year-old man with igniting the January fire, the one that destroyed the Pacific Palisades neighborhood in Los Angeles. That fire was deadly. It killed 12 people and destroyed nearly 7,000 homes and buildings. Counter-terrorism police in Britain say that the assailant in last week's attack on a synagogue in Manchester that left 2 people dead had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group. Checking Wall Street numbers, the Nasdaq rose by more than 1% today, adding 255 points in trading. The S&P 500 was up by 39, Dow unchanged. More at townhall.com.
Dinesh D'Souza went into a war zone to make his new film, revealing never-before-seen footage of October 7th. The film offers a new way to understand Israel, radical Islam, anti-Semitism, and biblical prophecy.
Could the fate of the world be tied to this place?
Dinesh D'Souza's new film, The Dragon's Prophecy, is in theaters 2 nights only, October 6th and 8th. Streaming and DVDs available October 9th. All tickets and pre-orders at thedragonsprophecyfilm.com. Thedragonsprophecyfilm.com.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm John Shearer. The Bakersfield Police Department wants help from the public in identifying a man suspected of vandalism to a Southwest Bakersfield home. Police say the man allegedly caused damage at a residence in the 5900 block of Foss Ridge Court in late August. The suspect is described as 6 feet tall, about 20 years old, reportedly wearing a black shirt over his face, black gym shorts, and white shoes at the time of the incident. Anyone with information is asked to call the Bakersfield Police Department. The gross value of all agricultural commodities produced in Kern County last year saw an 8% decrease from 2023, according to a report submitted by Agricultural Commissioner Glenn Frankhauser. It was suggested that the decrease was the result of limited water supplies, along with higher costs and lower prices for some commodities. The report showed the top 5 commodities last year were citrus, grapes, carrots, almonds, and pistachios, which altogether made up about 64% of the total value. If Kern County consumers follow the national trend, it will be a record year for spending on Halloween. The National Retail Federation annual survey shows that a record $13.1 billion is likely to be spent on the end of October holiday nationwide. That would be a record exceeding the $12.2 billion that was spent in 2023. California, with an average gas price of $4.64 per gallon of regular, represents the most expensive price in the U.S. according to the AAA. In Bakersfield, the current price is $4.59 a gallon. A year ago, it was a penny more at $4.60 a gallon for regular gas at the pump. I'm John Shearer in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think this is the army where you shoot from a mile away? You gotta get a post like this. But a thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 8th day of October. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at KERNradio.com. You can also subscribe and actually watch us, JR and I, do our broadcasts. Tell them how they can subscribe on YouTube, Mr. Burdick.
No, it's as simple as going to youtube.com, searching Kern Radio right there, a little search bar at the top, and then there's a bubble right next to our profile. It says subscribe. All you have to do is click that and hit the bell. You'll know every single time we go live.
I've run into 5 different subscribers who all universally said it's much more fun to watch you do the show. Because the little stupid things that I do on the air that I've always done for 21 years, you actually get to see. I don't know. It makes it more, I don't know. I guess it's more, I don't know. It's a Wednesday.
Oh, pretty good. Long day. Hey, by the way, that's how we watch up here. Something to point out is if you're in an outlying area with no radio broadcast signal, YouTube's the way to do it.
Yeah? Is that the easiest way to get it to come in?
You don't get the radio up the canyon. You get about 100 feet into 178, you lose almost all the radio.
Really?
Yeah, the canyon must cut off signals or something.
Yeah.
And, and by the time you're up here, you're about 40 miles into the mountains, and you just don't get any radio from Bakersfield to speak of.
Yeah.
But that's what I was pointing out, that YouTube works that way.
You need to throw a house party, Howard. I'd love to see where you live.
It's nice. It is really nice.
I know.
The people that had it before me, it was a party house for them.
You
family, and they'd all come up here, and you could tell it was set up for 20 people.
Yeah, there you go. Just have a little cocktail party.
There you go.
Not a whole lot of people.
All of the spa,
Oh God, a Uber up there would be just.
Oh my God, the ride up the canyon, that Uber guy would either strangle you or you'd have to write him a large check or something.
What's the drive time from here to your house?
An hour.
An hour?
Yeah. It's
wow.
I think it's 39 miles, assuming it was a straight line, which of course it isn't.
Yeah.
I leave here. So let's say I leave here at 6 in the morning. I get to Bakersfield a little after 7.
Wow, I didn't know it was that far.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
Okay.
And it's the windy road that's the killer, because all it takes is one guy who won't use the turnouts going 10 miles under the limit to drive you nuts.
Yeah, I am not a fan of 2-lane highways.
No, that's the problem. I go, for example, 65. That's an open highway. There's no development on it. Why don't they have turnouts? They got all these people killed, passing and stuff. It's like, how hard is it to just carve something out on the side of the road?
Yeah, exactly. I don't get it. Anything specific you want to chat about?
Well, let's see. I got my paycheck, my retirement check. So
Yeah.
I'm good. You know what I think? You know what I think is going to happen? I maybe not. I think they're just going to ride up to 7 weeks till the new appropriations bill. Then they can scream and yell over that. I think that's horrible, but I think that's that's the fallback.
Yeah, I hope not. I've got a bad feeling about air traffic controllers. I think these guys are pissed, and I think they're going to sick out at some point.
Well, when I was going through this, I went through it about 4 times in 30 years. We'd had these in the past.
Yeah.
And if you're an essential employee and you try to sick out, your bosses will have a little talk with you. Now you can do it. It's hard to enforce, but when it becomes like a blue flu, they used to call them blue flus.
Right.
When law enforcement did it.
Yeah.
There's repercussions from that.
Yeah, the union would come down on you too.
Oh yeah. Especially if you don't have approved sick leave, you just decide to call in. They might do it, but the reality is that they get their check. You do a sick out, you're not getting your check.
Right.
So it's kind of, and it's unfortunate because there's no allowances for, hey, I get to put my mortgage on hold or my credit card payments or my car payments. You still got to pay your bills, even when the money's coming in or not.
Right. And it doesn't matter. When you say check to check, you think of poverty. But I know a lot of people that make a lot of money who still live check to check. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they've got some money stashed away for the future, but they depend on those checks to pay their mortgage and their car note and their insurance and blah, blah, blah. And it's a big inconvenience when you're digging into your savings or into your 401k or whatever.
Or you rack up a credit card, hoping you'll pay it off.
Exactly.
Yeah, most people I know, unfortunately, Americans have learned to do this. You live to the level of your check. In other words, if you make more, you just spend more. You don't
exactly
at a certain level. If you make X amount a month and you get a raise to 2X amount a month, all of a sudden you're spending 2X amount a month.
Yeah.
Whether it's a payment on a car or whatever. The idea of savings is almost old school.
That's my problem. I don't understand how I lived 20 years ago when I was making like $35,000, $40,000. Now, obviously, things didn't cost as much as they did, but I was still living, and I was living crazier then than I do now. I drank a whole lot more. I hung out in restaurants a whole lot more. I was chasing more women back then. I don't know how I was making it on 35, 40 grand. Really don't.
Living was so much cheap. My first apartment, my share of the rent on a really nice apartment in Santa Monica was $75 a month.
That's crazy.
And that's nuts.
Where? What year?
79. 78, 79.
$75. You should have never left that joint.
Well, you know what they did? They got around the rent control. Santa Monica. It was in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
The very first city to go rent control in basically West LA, California, was Santa Monica.
Yeah.
The way they got around it is they got a group of investors. They bought the building and turned them quote unquote into condos, and each investor got an apartment, so to speak. And they evicted us under that because it was no longer a rental.
Right.
We made the news because it was a rent strike, and one of our guys was an actor. He's fairly famous at the time. He played, if you remember, Old School. He was Blue, the old guy that was a wrestler that died in the mud wrestling. He was our neighbor in that apartment, so he managed to get the news crews.
Oh, you live with Blue?
Chris knows what you're talking about.
Blue?
Yeah, I just saw a video. Okay, look, it's sports thing, but they were just making fun of Joe Flacco by using the scene where the three of them drive up and grab him out of the car. You don't remember? You've ever seen Old School? Vince Vaughn, Will Ferrell?
No.
Oh, it's fantastic.
More Will Ferrell, John Unique than I ever want to see, but other than that.
I've always said
It's actually a funny movie. It really is.
I've never been a Will Ferrell guy.
I don't like him. He's kind of Jerry Lewis without the charm. I don't know how to say it, but that kind of humor, that kind of Jerry Lewis. I never went for it.
No, I'm one of the few people that did not like Anchorman, didn't like Ricky Bobby, didn't like I just Elf. No, there's not a Will Ferrell movie that I've liked.
Put it this way, how much I like him, I've never seen any of those movies. I have no interest.
Yeah, me either.
I'm just not a fan. But he was our downstairs neighbor, so he managed to get the media involved, and they had to buy it. As a result, they had to buy us out to get us to move.
Wow.
And he gave us enough to basically get another place and a down payment and stuff. But that's how they got around rent control.
Yeah.
That they were no longer apartments. But it's you're right. It was cheap to live, but then again, you're also making like $5-6 an hour. Was considered good.
I remember when I was living at the Edgewater, which is a really nice complex, in '92, my first year here, it was furnished. My dad was going back and forth, and he left it for me, and it was furnished, and it was a 2-bedroom, and I think it was going for $1,000.
That's a lot of money back then.
In '92, I know. For a furnished 2-bedroom apartment, that's peanuts.
But now, even that, I don't even know. But the rent prices went nuts. I remember, it's just the way it was. It was one of those things where the cost of living. You remember back then?
Hang on, Howard. I'm actually on the air. I'm gonna have to call you back.
Alrighty.
Not you, Howard.
Not you.
Yes, I'm on the air. Thank you, though. That was
talking to you.
I had to take that. That was the DHS's secretary. I'm trying to get Lito Murillo on.
Okay, you want me to wait?
No, I just told her.
Oh, okay.
But I had to take that. I didn't want it to go to thing. Sorry about that. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
The cost of living. Remember, my mom didn't have to work. She was a housewife. That was normal.
Mine too. Although
my
she
dad
did.
was a we were middle class, normal people.
In the 70s, nobody's mom worked. Really?
No.
I can't think of when I lived in Cerritos. None of my friends, literally, none of my friends, and this was a middle class. Cerritos is a very middle class neighborhood.
Yeah, near Torrance and everything. Yeah, South Bay.
No. Cerritos is out there by Buena Park and Artesia, out there by Knott's Berry Farm and out there.
Okay. Yeah. Gardena and all. Yeah. Okay.
No, you're still not
I didn't
close.
live anywhere near there. I lived in West Hill. In fact, we lived in a place called Mar Vista, which was basically a suburb, so to speak, of Venice.
I know exactly where that is. That's where there's a golf course right near there where Harrison Ford landed.
Oh, you know where it is? Yeah. They should take away his pilot license.
I know. I played that golf course. It's a great little golf course, actually.
Oh yeah. In fact, you were talking about your dad's house.
Yeah.
My dad, we were at a regular house. My dad, I think, paid $65,000, which is a lot of money in the mid '60s, or $45,000.
Sure.
Last time I looked it up, and this wasn't Pacific Palisades, Palos Verdes. This was Mar Vista. It was $2.1 million.
Wow.
How do you afford? And the people that bought it from my dad in '94, he was a concert pianist, and she was a heart surgeon, which gives you an idea who was buying these places.
Right.
That's otherwise the middle class were just priced out.
Absolutely. And now those homes
here, I couldn't afford to buy my dad's house.
Nope. Neither could I. Either one of the houses, the Ladera house or the PV house, I couldn't afford. No. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
That's one of the issues that's coming up is that you're seeing this crunch. Basically we have essentially hollowed out the middle class.
Yeah.
There is no real middle class. There's people living paycheck to paycheck. There's the working poor. There's the poor, and there's the really rich.
Yeah. And I was just watching this interview. This woman has written a book about I forget the title, but it's essentially about the normalization of children living with their parents late in life, where children are living with their parents until they're like 40.
Yeah, what they used to call it, was it cocooning, or what was it when they just stayed home forever?
I forget, but she's written a whole book
for it. They never left.
Yeah, where this is the first 2 generations that are not going to do better than their parents.
No. Well, it's almost a good thing in a way, because you remember the old days, parents and grandparents that would come live with their kids or vice versa. They would have a nuclear family. It wasn't abnormal to have your grandparents living with your family.
Yeah.
And, we got away from that. All of a sudden there was 2 working, both spouses worked. The kids were in daycare, childcare, whatever. There was nobody that was staying at home. And the grandparents were usually shunted off somewhere. So maybe we're making full circle because we have to by economic necessity.
Yeah. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, to get along. When I was in Hart Flat for 6 years, I had my in-laws staying with me because they couldn't afford the rent anywhere.
Right.
I had a little 1-bedroom, real tiny apartment in the workshop, and they were thrilled to get it because they were just getting priced out every time they tried to move. The rent get raised 25, 30, 40%.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's a good thing in a way if you get along, but if it's by necessity, I don't know.
Yeah, it makes it tough.
It does something about society when we're having to move back in, or kids can't leave the house.
Yeah. How are we going to get out of this shutdown, Howard?
I think my general opinion. I think the Democrats are going to have to blink.
They are. I think so too.
Well, the polls are just thrashing them. People know it's the Democrats because the Republicans got the message out this time. This is a nonpartisan funding bill that they've signed 13 times in the past, including Schumer, and And they keep hammering the $1.5 trillion to extend temporary credits, you know, the Obama stuff, and they're hammering them pretty hard on the illegals.
What about that, though? That's a good point. Marjorie Taylor Greene has left the reservation. She is on record. We've got some audio I'm going to play after we talk with you, where she's saying, you know, the reality is my grown kids are going to see their premiums double if we don't renew these subsidies.
Well, you know, the problem is, and we got away from this probably in the last 20 years, healthcare is not a universal right. I'm sorry to say that, but, you know, the idea was, and employers have gotten away from it, we've let them get away from it, providing healthcare.
Yeah, but you know life and you know politics. And once you give somebody something,
they don't want to give it up.
You can't, it's murder trying to take it back from them.
Well, I don't, you know, I used to have a saying, I don't blame the pigs in the trough. I blame the guy putting the slop in the trough for them. You give people entitlements, they don't want to give them up because it's free stuff. We have a whole generation, which wasn't 40 years ago, 50 years ago, the same way, that people are expecting the government to give them stuff and to get upset when you take away something they're really not entitled to. And once you give them stuff, you're right, they never want to give it up. And my answer to Marjorie Taylor Greene is, look, if your kids are in their 20s and 25s, 30, even 30, they're pretty healthy. They don't necessarily need health care. They need catastrophic care, which is what emergency rooms should only be for. But, you know, the sniffles and colds and stuff like that, unless it's a life-threatening illness, they generally are pretty healthy.
What if you have children?
Well, again,
you need an OBGYN, you need a pediatrician,
Yeah. Well, that's what you plan for kids. If you just want to pop kids out, then that's something you have to deal with, you know, financially responsible. Can you afford to have children at a young age?
And that's, I think, the unfortunate thing. I think that's why kids are not having children anymore. Right. Kids aren't having kids.
Well, it's expensive. You know,
it is.
Those numbers, what it talks, what, $1 million to have a kid through college or something?
I mean, just to have the baby is now ridiculously expensive. I'm not talking about taking them home and taking care of them. I mean, the hospital bill.
Well, they're so intertwined because, look, if you pull out they had a proposal, if you put a copay in emergency rooms, $100, $150, $200, so people don't use it as an HMO and it's really only for emergency use only. So the hospitals are in the black, not hemorrhaging red, and then the cost can come down because what they're doing is they're sticking it to people with insurance. If you have insurance, you know, they're billing you for everybody that doesn't have insurance.
Yeah.
And so if you manage to fix that problem, maybe the cost will come down. And if you take people off these entitlement programs that really aren't supposed to be getting it, you know, which is what the Medicaid reforms are for, I think the cost will come down. But it's not an easy fix because, again, people want free stuff. I don't blame them because we've been giving them free stuff. It's not like they're asking for something they don't already have.
I got to play it again, Chris. Can you dig up Hillary? This is just absolutely remarkable to me. This is Hillary Clinton off the Joe Rogan show. It dates a little bit. I think it's, and I don't have a hard date, but I'm pretty certain it is prior to her initial run for president. But if this isn't just the ultimate hypocrisy, I don't know what is.
Okay.
If you're not happy with this one, Jamie, go to that Hillary Clinton thing that I texted you today. This one is wild.
We do not think the comprehensive health care benefits should be extended to those who are undocumented workers and illegal aliens. We do not want to do anything to encourage more illegal immigration into this country. We know now that too many people come in for medical care as it is. We certainly don't want them having the same benefits that American citizens are entitled to have.
How about that? More
We certainly don't want them to have the same medical care as American citizens.
Obviously, before she ran for president, ran for her base, you know.
Why aren't Republicans running that every 45 seconds on television?
I don't know. Well, I've seen some of that kind of stuff, but it's mostly, honestly, it's on YouTube or on Facebook or something. They're not running it, you're right, as a comprehensive ad campaign. I don't get it either, but, you know, the sad part is that Bill Clinton nowadays would be considered a moderate Republican.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, that's how bad the party has shifted, is that they were just the wild-eyed lunatics on the left are running their party.
And John,
AOC is openly called the leader of the Democratic Party, a junior congresswoman who is a barista, that is as brainless as they come, is now considered the leading force, and is a good chance she's going to basically boot Schumer out of office.
Yeah. Yes.
That's scary.
I said, no, it's not. It's wonderful.
Well, it's good for us, but it's
you
bad for
damn Skippy. And Mamdani just was endorsed by Kamala Harris, and they're circling the wagons around him. You've got an attorney general in Virginia who said that he hoped an opponent 3 years ago. He said that hoped that opponent would get shot in the head and that his kids would die so he could know empathy and all this. And they're circling the wagons around these people. Let them go off uber left, Howard. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
No, it shows you the dangers of the far left taking power. The sad part is if you live in New York, you're almost like a hostage at that point. Because if you didn't vote for him, and there's a big chunk of New Yorkers that won't vote for him, obviously the Jewish population, the largest population of Jews outside of Israel is New York. If they don't manage to get this guy from being elected, they're going to be stuck.
But that's the crazy thing. Young Jews, 18 to 35, love this guy. Now, Jews our age know the real deal. But young Jews in New York love this guy. It just makes no sense.
I'm the only conservative Jew in my family.
Yeah.
The rest of them, my aunt, who I love dearly, and we don't talk politics for obvious reasons, and my niece, they were wearing their Hillary Clinton T-shirts on their Facebook page.
Wow.
She was running, like, are you nuts? And the most anti-Semitic party in recent memory, and Jews are voting for it. It's sort of like chickens voting for the fox. I just don't get it.
And he made a really crude comment yesterday on the anniversary of October 7th.
I saw that.
I mean, it's young people.
Genocide began on October 7th.
Yeah.
Really?
The stupidity is generational. It doesn't matter what religion, what color. It's generational. That generation is just, they're a bunch of idiots.
Could you imagine?
Sorry, Chris.
Could you imagine if Harris won? We're lucky we have Trump. We really don't deserve
no
it.
kidding. No kidding. Got to fly, Howard. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday. No. Will we?
Oh, you will not see him.
We will not see you next Thursday. It's our fundraiser next Thursday.
Wednesday.
No, the fundraiser is Thursday.
I understand.
Oh, but he's on Wednesday.
Yes.
And I'll be at 35,000 feet on Wednesday.
Regardless, we will not talk to you next week.
Regardless, yeah, exactly.
Either way,
All right, have a good week. Howard Marcus, quick timeout. It's TLBS. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-9069. 800-525-9069. 800-525-9069.
I'm here with Dr. Tarkesh from Affordable Dentures and Implants. Doc, how does digital dentistry improve the process of getting dental work done?
Digital dentistry is a cutting-edge technology that creates highly accurate 3D scanning. It helps make a more precise and efficient treatment. For example, with implants, this can allow us to plan procedure down to the smallest detail, which in return speed up the process, reducing the time patients spend in surgery.
And who is a good candidate for the implants?
Almost anyone missing teeth, as long as the patient has enough bone to support the implant or can undergo a bone graft. Implants are a great option. We always do a thorough evaluation to make sure the implants are the best solution for each patient's unique needs.
Get the smile you always wanted without anxiety at Affordable Dentures and Implants. Dr. Nozar Tarkesh specializes in implants with IV sedation. Visit him online at affordabledentures.com or call 831-7230 to schedule your appointment today.
Go ahead and smile.
Don't miss Megyn Kelly live on stage with special guests Charlie Sheen and Victor Davis Hanson, November 20th at Dignity Health Arena. Get tickets now at MegynKelly.com. Presented by Y-Refi and SiriusXM.
Graybeard here, host of the SolarWise radio show. Listen, nobody likes PG&E. They're outrageously expensive. Join me Sundays at 6 p.m. right here on Kern Radio, News Talk 1180.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
I'm all shook up. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. I just saw Viva Las Vegas. Oh, do you know what was on last night?
What's that now?
What did I ask you had you not seen?
The back up all the way to Cleveland thing.
Tootsie.
Tootsie.
Tootsie was on last night. Can you believe that?
That's pretty funny.
Maybe I psychologically, no, because we got into it because of a topic.
Yeah, no,
So I couldn't have like seen it on the guide and it stuck in my head, but that's a good movie. I forget, you know who's in that movie?
Who's that now?
A young Bill Murray.
Oh, really?
Plays Dustin Hoffman's roommate. It's a great movie with Charles Durning and you know who else is in it? Gina. You know Gina. She married Jeff Goldberg. Gina Davis. Is that her name?
Sure.
She's the artist. Anyway, we headed to the back half. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
This is an SRN News special report. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. There appears to be a breakthrough in the 2-year-old Gaza war. President Trump has posted a statement saying Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of his plan that would pause fighting and release at least some hostages and prisoners. Following that announcement, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said, quote, "With God's help, we will bring them all home." Earlier in the day, the president was sounding upbeat about a Gaza deal coming together.
It's something I think that will happen, got a good chance of happening. I may go there sometime toward the end of the week, maybe on Sunday, actually.
Negotiators have been meeting in Egypt for days now, hashing out a U.S. drafted peace plan aimed at ultimately ending the Gaza war, which began 2 years ago yesterday. This has been an SRN News special report.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm John Shearer. The gross value of all agricultural commodities produced in Kern County last year saw an 8% decrease from 2023, according to a report submitted by Agriculture Commissioner Glenn Frankhauser. The report showed the top 5 commodities last year were citrus, grapes, carrots, almonds, and pistachios, which altogether made up about 64% of the total value. The Bakersfield Fire Department is warning that lithium-ion batteries, while convenient, can cause fires if they're damaged or improperly charged. The fire department recommends buying only certified products, charge on a hard surface, and stop using a device that overheats or swells. I'm John Shearer in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
Millions of fans agree. This Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting The Ghost of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more, November 25th, Dignity Health Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com and AXS.com. Don't miss this season's most exciting concert experience. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert. It's the JR Show.
Well, the dominoes have begun to fall. Just got word that Stan Ellis, who took over the assembly seat in the state for Vince Fong, will not run for re-election. About 20 minutes later, announcing David Couch for assembly. That's right, the dominoes will tumble. Now, who's going to announce to take Supervisor Couch's seat? We shall see.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 11.
Most of you know this, but I went through a period of plagiarism through my college years in Atlanta, Georgia.
You know, again, although plagiarism technically it wasn't on an official paper, and I give
No, I never plagiarized in college.
Well, technically it was in college.
Cal State, I plagiarized for people. I didn't
Yeah,
plagiarize.
but again,
I wrote for other people. I was a
did the work.
ghostwriter. That's how I rationalized it.
Yeah.
I was a ghostwriter.
There you go.
Supporting my friends on the CSUB basketball team and others.
Helping them win championships.
And paying me $50 for 3-page papers that were double spaced. I mean, I was rolling, dude. I was rolling. And I felt bad, but they were so, I would have felt like I was taking advantage of them if they weren't so incredibly grateful. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'd be like, $50. And I'd be like, dude, it's my time. They'd be like, all right. And I'd see them like 3 or 4 days later. They'd be like, dude, I got a B+. Love you, my brother. Thank you, man. Will you do that for the rest of the semester? Love you, man. That's great. Man, I ain't got a B+ since I was in 8th grade. Thank you, my brother, man. I love you, man. You're the best, Ralph. That's how I came so close with those guys. Kenny would give me free haircuts. You know, I got a paper due next week, Ralph. And I got a little afro going on here, Kenny. I'm pretty sure we can work something out. But in Atlanta, when I was at Morehouse, as again, most of you know, because I've told this 1,000 times, I would take songs. Now, I couldn't take Stevie Wonder. I'm dealing with black girls. But I would take old Sinatra songs or old Dean Martin songs and just write down the lyrics. Dearest Rhonda, I've got you under my skin. I've got you deep in the heart of me. And then finally, it was June Gray, who I think I went with like a Duke Ellington song. And she was like, this is a song my daddy used to sing to me, Ralph. And I was like, what? What are the chances? June Gray from Cleveland. No, not Cleveland Heights. Where was she from? She was from Ohio. Beautiful, beautiful girl who you would have thought was Caucasian. Yeah, she was very, very, very light skinned. But it's weird how black folks can tell, even when you're like Terry Jeter, a really good friend of mine, is your complexion. But for some reason, you can tell he's black. I don't really understand that. June Gray was the same way. Her complexion was as gray as her name. Beautiful girl, June Gray. But yeah, she was the one that busted me. My dad, you sent me a poem that my daddy used to sing to me, Ralph, when I was a little girl. What? 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got?
The fact you doubled down on that too is hilarious.
What do you mean I doubled down?
That I more of just like the what? What do you mean?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like you could have just all right, fine, but I love the
No,
song and it made me remember you. So
No. I was like, well, maybe I heard some lyrics, but it's not the same song. So, are you sure? I'm like, come on. I'm a journalist. I'm going to be the next Brian Gumbel. I wrote that myself. I know what you're talking about. You're crazy. Okay. I love young women.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry. What do you got?
This first one says, Ralph, stop predicting. Didn't Kimmel teach you anything?
I don't get it.
I'm assuming your predictions of Kimmel that he was going to be fired and they brought him back. But again, that's not necessarily still out of the realm of possibility that they let him go at the end of the year.
Yes, when they suspended him indefinitely, I thought he was cooked. But if you listen on the regular, you know that I came back and said they're going to bring him back because when they bring him back, which I was absolutely right about, his numbers are going to go out the roof. Do you remember that? When I predicted that he would have a 10 million person audience, and it actually was 6.5. And I even criticized the Sinclair and Nexstar who waited for bringing him back on many of the affiliates because, as I said then, those are the highest numbers he's ever gotten. Those are the highest numbers he's ever going to get. And lo and behold, CNN and MSNBC aren't covering this, but guess where his ratings have gone? Inside of a week, they've dropped 27%. And it's just a slow fall from there. He's not very talented. The show is not popular. People came to the show because of the incident and to hear what he said. I stayed up till 11:30 that night. I didn't even DVR it. I wanted to hear it live, even though obviously it was on an East Coast show. So, they played it East Coast first. So I was getting things on my phone like at 8:39, 10. I was like, no, I'm not going to pay attention. So I want to see this live. I want to hear what he has to say. And he even lied in his comeback. In fact, I was at somebody's house the other night. I don't know why I introduced it like that, but I really am stupid. He was on Stephen Colbert. That's why I said I was at somebody's house. So y'all didn't think I watched Stephen Colbert. But the person whose house I was at watches Stephen Colbert. And I'm like, and we had the volume down. And Jimmy Kimmel walks on. And I'm like, hang on a second. And she's like, what? What's wrong? And I go, look. And she goes, it's Jimmy Kimmel. I go, it's Jimmy Kimmel. Give me this. Give me the remote. And I sat there and watched this little segment. It was terrible. And I watched like 2 minutes of it. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. That was rude of me. But I do this for a living and I had to know so I could. And I didn't even talk about it the next day. But I talked about it today. But yeah. But what did I predict? That Alex Padilla is going to get in the race? I think that's a safe bet. I have made no Dodger prediction. Although I do believe that if we get by Philly, in fact, I went the opposite. I said, I'm stuck because I don't see Yoshinobu Yamamoto not going 7 innings by giving up more than 2 runs. I just don't see that. But I just don't see us sweeping the Phillies. I just don't see it unless they're demoralized. I think their big three has got to start hitting tonight. But it's against Yamamoto. You see what I'm saying? I mean, like their guys are due. These are not like fly-by-night guys. These are veteran Harper and Kyle Petty and Trey Lance. These are veteran guys. You're not going to jump in?
I was waiting for you to say the other name. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But Yamamoto has just been his last 5 outings. You know, remember he threw an 8 2/3 no-hitter and got the loss. You believe? No, did he get the loss? No, he didn't get the loss, but he didn't get the win. But I mean, he's been lights out his last 5 or 6, just like Blake Snell. Imagine the season we would have if we'd been healthy. Did you realize we didn't have Blake Snell? I didn't realize this till this morning. I was reading the LA Times. We didn't have Blake Snell for 4 months.
Yep.
For 4 months. And this guy, you can make a really good argument that he's our ace. I thought it was YY. I thought it was Yosh. But Snell has been untouchable. And that move that he made, go sit your best butt down, Dave. I got this. It is one of the ballsiest moves I've ever seen. And the other thing that I'm tired of on my reels is all these baseball geniuses going over the wheel play. Like, dude, that's taught in Little League. And these guys are like explaining it. And watch how Freddie breaks to second base and how Mookie outruns him to third and how the third baseman was parallel. Dude, that's basic baseball. It annoys me when either coaches, administrators, or wannabes try to explain sports as if it's like rocket science. It's baseball. Most of us are taught it when we're 10 years old. And if you're fortunate enough to have a good coach who doesn't give a damn about winning, but wants you to understand the game and the fundamentals, you learn stuff like this when you're 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. And these guys pretend like it is absolute calculus or something. And it's sports. It's football. It's basketball. It's not rocket science, for God's sakes. But to see these guys, well, Mookie had to do this and he had to do that, and then Edman went to second. I mean, it's a basic bunt play. The brilliance of the play is the execution. The fact that Max, without Mookie even being at third base, threw to a spot and not, it's just human nature to throw to the guy who's moving and you throw it behind him. And Max threw it in front of him. It's the hustle of Mookie to beat Castellanos to third. And it is the intelligence of Fred to cover second base in case that guy at first wants to round the base. Great defense that day. Freddie making the final out of the night. Miggy diving at third base. It was a really good night for defense for the Dodgers. Who you got?
Dave.
Dave, what's really going on?
I thought I was watching Steve Sax at second base when Tommy made that throw.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. I don't know what he was thinking.
But that's basic baseball. In Little League, you work on that play, and the key is the shortstop has to sprint and hustle over that.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult to execute in Little League, but you're right. It is taught at a basic level. But it was a great play, great execution is what it was.
It turned the tide. We don't make that play, I don't think we win the game.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And if we don't win that game, I think the series is in jeopardy.
You're absolutely right. I think, and I hope Coach learned his lesson and goes with Yasaki every time.
Yeah, Blake Tynan better be in the Tanner Scott locker room. That's all I have to say.
I agree with you 100%.
There's only one guy that I remotely trust, and that's Vesia. And I say that reluctantly. But the rest of them, I don't want to see them. Don't want to see them.
Hey, and I'll have to get your number if you ever work it out when you want to get up through the canyon. I worked the canyon for over a year when I worked with the Forest Service. And I'll give you a ride up there.
Oh, don't worry about that, Dave.
I won't even charge you Uber rate.
No, don't worry about that, Dave. Don't worry about that, Dave. I'm a grown man. I always can work it out.
But the thing is, I enjoyed his, and I wouldn't mind meeting Howard Marcus in person. He just seems like such an interesting person.
He is. He's a great guy. Known him a long time. Really good dude.
I try always to make sure at 4 o'clock on Wednesday I'm catching that party.
Sweet. Appreciate that. Good to hear.
All
right, Dave. We'll see you, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Quick time out. Check the board, see what you all are talking about. We'll get into the 5. Why did Yellowstone break apart? Well, according to a published report, Ralph Bailey has the answer on his Stinson legal pad. And what is in store for the rest of the cast? Casey and Beth and what's Beth's boyfriend's name? Rip. All have a future in television. I'll break it down to you in the 5. And of course, we'll preview tonight's ball game, 6:08 start. I'm leaving at 5:45. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I'm just kidding. Quick time out. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, we'll be joined by Dr. Corey Gonzalez. He will put his psychology degree up against my life coaching certificate. We are going to do football picks with a listener and two random idiots, plus news and traffic and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-461-9096. 800-461-9096. 800-461-9096.
It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Networks. Are you a business owner who feel that your IT company just treats you just like another ticket number? Well, at Adaptive Networks, exceptional customer service isn't just a promise. It's how they do business every single day. And when you call, you're actually talking to a real person who knows your name, understands your business, and genuinely cares about solving your problems. No phone trees, no runaround, no attitude. From the moment you become a client, you'll experience the difference that comes from working with a company that puts customer service first. And no one knows that better than the folks here at American General Media, because we've teamed up with Adaptive Networks. Ready to experience IT support the way it should be? Call Adaptive Networks at 661-241-0638 or visit adaptive-net.com today. Adaptive Networks, where great technology meets even greater customer service.
Trucordia, a new name, but a trusted partner for Kern County businesses. With more than 100 years of combined experience, Trucordia delivers cost-saving strategies, risk-reducing solutions, and easy online tools to simplify benefits management. Trucordia goes beyond health benefits, helping your business thrive. Call Trucordia today at 661-401-2280. Trucordia, building trust, creating harmony, protecting Kern County businesses. Trucordia, 661-401-2280.
Welcome to Sundale Country Club, your home for golf, family, and friends. Sundale is more than golf. It's a jewel in the heart of Bakersfield. The proud home of the award-winning Phoenix restaurant, combining upscale dining with magnificent golf course views. Sundale Country Club will soon be your favorite getaway without even leaving town. To reserve a tea time or make a dining reservation, call 661-831-4200. Open to all, but ask about our membership benefits. Golf, family, and friends. It all comes together at Sundale Country Club.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM.
Might be snakes there in that grass.
Grandma's hands. I got nervous energy. I can't sit still. I haven't even had any coffee today.
Why is that now?
Why is that?
Oh, it could be multiple reasons. Why?
Well, ball game tonight, Jackson. Because I don't want to mush this. I don't want to mush this. But I think if we get by Milwaukee, let me just say this. I think the three best teams in the National League, the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Brewers, are better than the three best American League teams. The Toronto, who do you say the next two are? Detroit and Seattle. Yeah, Toronto, Seattle.
Tigers?
Tigers or Yankees? Tigers, I guess Tigers. Yeah, Tigers. The only team in the AL that scares me is Toronto.
That's fair.
Primarily because I don't know much about him, and I know Little Guerrero is a beast. That's about all I know about him. But for some reason, they scare the crap out of me. I don't know why. 842-5376, 842-KER. Let's clean up the board. What do you got?
Let's see. The shutdown healthcare debate has nothing to do with illegal immigrants. Ralph, you keep talking about the emergency rooms, but the Democrats are trying to extend ACA subsidies, which are prohibited by law from going to illegal immigrants. The emergency rooms thing is a race-baiting red herring.
So you're saying that emergency rooms all over the country are not filled with illegal aliens, undocumented Americans, who use that as their general practitioners? Because you're trying to insist then, I suppose, that undocumented workers have insurance and then go see their GP? Is that what you're saying? And are you telling me that our money, my tax money, doesn't go to emergency rooms? Really? And I don't know if you listen to the show or if you listen and you don't pay attention to the show, but I have predicted that the subsidies will be reenacted, and I've supported that, as has Marjorie Taylor Greene. In fact, here is some audio from what has now become, I suppose, a rogue Republican. Here is the blonde from Georgia.
This is the number one issue I hear about in my district. Health insurance premiums are unaffordable. What I am upset over is my party has no solution. It's not something that we talk about frequently.
It isn't. And it's something that if they expire and these 25 million folks are dumped off of getting insurance, it's going to be an issue. But let's don't parse words and try to ignore the fact that undocumented folks in this country receive medical care, and somebody's paying for it. If an undocumented American is in an automobile accident, does he get his leg fixed if it's broken? I'm pretty sure he does. And if he's undocumented, that means he doesn't have insurance. So it's coming out of somebody's pocket. So let's don't play games. We can quote this and that and that and this, and then there's reality. You know what I'm saying? There's reality. And the reality is the Democrats signed off on the same budget proposal that's in this continuing resolution just 6 months ago. And nobody stuck in little amendments, well, we know we got to pass this because we got to pass the government. So we want this and we want this. Pass the CR and then sit down with the Republicans and work out the reenactment of these subsidies. Nobody wants these things to go out. They're just playing chicken. But the Republicans don't want to see these subsidies fail. They've been trying to get rid of, and this is one of my biggest criticisms of my own party. We've been trying to get rid of Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act since Obama became president and got it enacted. But as she's pointed out, and this is who's got their head further up Donald Trump's behind than Marjorie Taylor Greene, and even she's insisting we don't have an answer. You can't take something from people and not replace it. And we have absolutely no answer for something beyond the Affordable Care Act, or as it should be known, Obamacare. And until we do, you better believe that at the 11th hour, they're going to reenact these subsidies. They have to. They're already underwater on Medicaid. David Valadao is going to be in the fight for his life because a doctor is going to run against him and tell everybody in that district, 67% of them who depend on Medicaid, that David Valadao is the big bad boogeyman. You add that and these subsidies don't get re-upped, the Republican Party, maybe they're that stupid, I just don't believe it. And I think at the 11th hour, they'll figure something out. Because enrollment, as I keep trying to remind you guys, starts in about a month. One more, and let's get in the final hour.
There is some breaking news.
What do you
Hamas
got?
has accepted Trump's peace deal and
Wow.
returned the hostages. I'm printing a story for you as we speak.
And they've released the hostages?
They plan to, yes.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's what I said too.
But that's great news. It's what we led with today. Give it up for Jared Kushner. I always liked that kid. Because I'm a man. And men tend to judge men by the women they get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I'm like, if he bagged Ivanka, he got to be badass. If he got by Pop, and Pop likes him, and he jumps in bed every night with Ivanka, you got to be pretty badass. And this thing really got up on his feet when Kushner got involved, if you want to know the truth.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM.
What is for dinner? I need a big meal for Dr.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. There appears to be a breakthrough in the 2-year-old Gaza war. President Trump has posted a statement saying Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of his plan to pause fighting and release at least some hostages and prisoners. Following that announcement, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said, quote, "With God's help, we will bring them all home." Earlier in the day, the president was sounding upbeat about a Gaza deal coming together.
It's something I think that will happen, got a good chance of happening. I may go there sometime toward the end of the week, maybe on Sunday, actually.
Tempers are rising as the federal government shutdown enters its second week. Randy Irwin is president of the National Federation of Government Employees and complains that middle-class federal workers are being treated like political pawns.
Congress, do your job and pass a budget. That's going to require a little compromise. It's not a one-sided thing. If you don't have a bill, you haven't done your job.
Once again today, a Senate bill failed to win enough votes to end the stalemate and reopen the government. Meanwhile, there's an increase in air travel delays. Air traffic controllers are expected to keep working without a paycheck, and some have started calling out sick. Authorities have charged a 29-year-old man with igniting the January fire that destroyed LA's Pacific Palisades neighborhood. Acting U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley.
It smoldered underground for about a week until on January 7th, heavy winds caused this underground fire to surface and spread above ground, causing what became known as the Palisades Fire.
Audio from ABC 7, Los Angeles. The man faces charges including malicious destruction. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Some big news. Just before Charlie Kirk died, he issued a stark warning of terrifying dangers and threats ahead for those who stand for truth. Charlie wrote this in his last published work, the foreword for the new book, Pagan Threat. Authored by Pastor Lucas Miles, Charlie said that Pagan Threat could save America. Charlie said you must read, internalize, and share this book. It has the plan to stop the wokeism infecting America. Already a #1 Amazon bestseller, Pagan Threat is available wherever books are sold. Get Pagan Threat free with Newsmax's special offer and save $30. Go online now to paganthreat.com. That's paganthreat.com. Millions are tuning into Newsmax on all major cable systems. They're downloading our free Newsmax app on their smartphones. And they're getting Pagan Threat to see Charlie Kirk's final words. Go today to paganthreat.com. That's paganthreat.com.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm John Scher. The Bakersfield Police Department wants help from the public in identifying a man suspected of vandalism to a Southwest Bakersfield home. Police say the man allegedly caused damage at a residence in the 5900 block of Foss Ridge Court in late August. The suspect is described as 6 feet tall, about 20 years old, reportedly wearing a black shirt over his face, black gym shorts, and white shoes at the time of the incident. Anyone with information is asked to call the Bakersfield Police Department. The gross value of all agricultural commodities produced in Kern County last year saw an 8% decrease from 2023, according to a report submitted by Agricultural Commissioner Glenn Frankhauser. It was suggested that the decrease was the result of limited water supplies, along with higher costs and lower prices for some commodities. The report showed the top 5 commodities last year were citrus, grapes, carrots, almonds, and pistachios, which altogether made up about 64% of the total value. If Kern County consumers follow the national trend, it will be a record year for spending on Halloween. The National Retail Federation annual survey shows that a record $13.1 billion is likely to be spent on the end of October holiday nationwide. That would be a record exceeding the $12.2 billion that was spent in 2023. California, with an average gas price of $4.64 per gallon of regular, represents the most expensive price in the U.S., according to the AAA. In Bakersfield, the current price is $4.59 a gallon. A year ago, it was a penny more at $4.60 a gallon for regular gas at the pump. I'm John Shearer in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get up close like this. Little thing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday. Perhaps an historic day in American history. We've got breaking news out of Tel Aviv is where they were. Tel Aviv, I should have guessed that. I'm just going to read this as is written. I won't read the entire piece, but
APR, by the way.
What is it?
APR.
APR.
NPR, I'm sorry, NPR.
NPR, National Public Radio. Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire deal that's intended to end to the devastating Gaza war, which unleashed the deadliest fighting ever between Israelis and Palestinians. President Trump said on Truth Social that Israel and Hamas, quote, have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. Quote, this means that all of the hostages will be released very soon, and Israel will withdraw their troops to an agreed upon line as the first steps toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace. All parties will be treated fairly. This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America. And we thank the mediators from Qatar is how it's pronounced, Egypt and Turkey, who worked with us to make this historic and unprecedented event happen. Blessed are the peacemakers. The announcement came just hours after Trump told reporters at the White House he was prepared to travel to the Middle East as early as this weekend. And in fact, we have that audio from the Oval Office. This is the president earlier today discussing and predicting that this would come about.
A great team over there, great negotiators, and there are unfortunately great negotiators on the other side also. But it's something I think that will happen, got a good chance of happening. I may go there sometime toward the end of the week, maybe on Sunday, actually, and we'll see. But there's a very good chance that negotiations are going along very well. We're dealing with Hamas and many of the countries. As you know, we have Muslim, all of the Muslim countries are included, all of the Arab countries are included, very rich countries and some that are not so rich, but just about everybody's included. It's never happened before. Nothing like that's happened before. And our final negotiation, as you know, is with Hamas. And it seems to be going well. So we'll let you know. If that's the case, we'll be leaving probably on Sunday, maybe Saturday, maybe a little a little later than Saturday evening, but that seems to be our schedule.
Where they are going to Egypt to make the signings. And the tip-off to this was when Benjamin Netanyahu assembled his cabinet, because the cabinet, part of the agreement is the releasing of the 48 hostages, 20 of them remain alive, and hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. Well, the tip-off, what the reporters were looking for, was Netanyahu going to his cabinet because they have to vote on the release of the hostages, and going to the Knesset, which is the Israeli Congress, as well. That's what tipped off a lot of the reporters. And that's why as early as this morning, they were predicting that this would occur. But this is absolutely gargantuan. And this is yet just another victory for Donald Trump that could have never, ever transpired under either a Biden administration or a Kamala Harris administration. Can you imagine Kamala Harris going to the Middle East and dealing with these misogynist Muslim Arab leaders? They would have laughed at her. Not simply because she's a woman, but because she's a very weak woman who would have laughed and giggled her way through it. And I just can't see the Harris or Biden team pulling this off. And I do think that the president's going to receive the Nobel Peace Prize for this. I really do. This thing has finally come to an end. It's been 2 years. No one thought it could be as long as 2 years. I've thought that Benjamin Netanyahu, based on his political backing on the far right of the Israeli government, was forced to go much further than they should have. I thought when they blocked aid was wrong, when they attacked residential areas were wrong. But make it clear, Hamas is, imagine having a group of people whose entire world is to destroy you. I think it's almost natural, it is natural, it's human nature to then want to destroy them. But I think at some point there had to be a peace. And let's face it, the Trump administration brokered it. And we'll get credit for it. And it's just another war that this man has been able to stop. And again, no matter what you think of him, and you know, this is the beauty of being honest. This is the beauty of me criticizing Trump and his administration on times, because you know when I praise him, I mean it sincerely. And I do believe he is by far the best candidate that we had. Like Howard put it, I can't imagine a Harris administration right now. I just listening to this woman, and I'm going by Barnes and Noble. I always need something to read when I go to Washington. So I'm going to go get 107 Days. I know that Mary Marcus isn't happy with it. Is it Mary Marcus or is it Stella's mom? I think it's Stella's mom who keeps telling me, just go to the library. Would it even be in the library this early?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but I'm
going to spend the 30, 35 bucks.
Yeah.
And read it on the plane. I need something well, I'll be reading it on the way back, not on the way there. Because on the way there, I you know what I do? We leave at like 6 in the morning. So I stay up all night. I stay up till like 3, 4 in the morning and get like maybe an hour, just a little cat nap right before I leave. And then I have a little vodka, coffee, and Bailey's. And by Arizona, I'm out. I just need like 2 good hours sleep on a plane. You know what I mean? 4 hours of just, you know, and our charter is so different because I've gone on 5 trips and they're trends. And as soon as we level off, we just left Bakersfield. We've been hanging out in the airport for at least a good hour. And I know they're older men, and I know I'm going to be there very, very soon, but it just cracks me up. As soon as we get to 35,000 feet, there is a line like they were going into a Dodger game to get to the bathroom. And I'm just always like, fellas, we literally left 10 minutes ago. None of y'all thought about going in the bathroom.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
I guess. And then right about Kansas, everybody starts wandering the plane and going back and talking to each other. That's one of the great things, actually. But it's also, for a white knuckle flyer like me, I just want to be in my little solitude, looking out the window, just my fingers crossed and, doing my Hail Marys. And no, I'm kidding. It used to be once I'm in the air, but you know what I've been doing? And I don't know why I've been doing this.
Watching these videos of all these
Air
people
disasters. No, there's a show.
Oh, there's a show
called Air Disasters.
Why are you watching this?
I have no idea, because it's fascinating, dude.
You have a deep innate fear of flying.
Dude, it's fascinating. It is so fascinating how they explain why. And some of them are some of the most famous plane crashes. One they did, you know what the one they did, and I DVR'd it, I haven't watched it yet. Left Eye, and how her plane, they had too much luggage. They examined that. Dude, it's fascinating. Even you're right, for a white knuckler,
I'm just sitting here thinking,
I have no business watching.
You watching that show is like someone with a really deep fear of sharks watching Shark Week.
Pretty much.
It doesn't compute, but I get it that it's fascinating.
It is. It really is. I mean, the Lockerbie incident, I haven't seen the one on, it's too soon, I think, but I'm sure inevitably they'll have one on the
Dubai crash or
whatever. No, the Potomac crash.
Potomac crash.
The helicopter and the plane.
Yeah.
One of the most fascinating ones, one of the best ones they've ever done, is the other Potomac crash, which we go over that bridge when we go to Washington every time, where it was before they did a really good job on de-icing the wings, and they had not fully de-iced the wings on a plane leaving out of I think it was out of Dulles, and the plane couldn't lift off, and it hit the bridge and it went in. And the reason it's so fascinating is because the news organizations were right on top of that, and there were people that were killed on the bridge. There were people that were on the bridge. There were at least two guys that were on the bridge on their commute who jumped into the Potomac to save people from this thing. It's absolutely fascinating. But you're right. White knuckle flyers should not watch a show called Air, Disasters. But it really is. It's really fascinating. And some of them are so tragic. But like one where they clipped off the back wing that basically guides the plane, and for like an hour they fought this plane, and they pull up, and the only way they could get, you know how you get elevation sometimes is you have to dive to get speed, and so basically they did this for about an hour. They fought this thing for an hour.
And just up and down, up and down, up and down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For an hour. Can you imagine being on that plane? And then they finally hit a mountain. They were 6 miles from the airport. They were trying to return. They had some problems, and they were fighting this thing for about an hour. They were 6 miles from the airport, and they crashed into a mountainside. It's deep into the 500s if you're a DirecTV subscriber. It's like 568. I just got it when I redid my deal with Direct, and I don't know why. You're right. I'm stupid. I didn't watch it last night though. It was on, and I was like, no, not watching it.
Yeah, let's stay away from that before you leave.
Just for a little bit. All right, let's go and take a break. Woo! Starting to get some butterflies. So I need a big meal tonight to divert my attention. or ease my pain, one of the two. Isn't it crazy how we invest in our sport teams? Like if we had lost that night while I was sitting here, I would have been that would have screwed up my whole night. Like tonight, if we lose, still got 2 more shots at it, and they're not going to beat us 3 in a row. I'm sorry. You can call me the mush if you want, but they're not beating us 3 in a row. They're just not. But I certainly don't want to have to get back on a plane, I can tell you that. If we don't get it done tonight, I do not want to go back to Philly. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on a Wednesday, right here on News Talk 96.1. And I should explain, but most of you are aware, we are working on our AM station, so you've got to listen exclusively either on 96.1 FM or go to your phone or your laptop, et cetera, go to kernradio.com, or do what a lot of folks do and go to YouTube and actually watch us broadcast the broadcast. Right here. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We stream live at kernradio.com. I thought I just said that.
News Talk 96.
Messmaker.
Coming up on the Thursday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, the shutdown situation. Republicans are standing tall and strong on this one. Democrats continue to whine about not getting their priorities. How long is this thing going to go? Plus, Trump's showdown with Chicago and Portland. He wants to help provide security and safety. They don't want that. Not a big surprise there. We'll talk about it on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hope you're with us tomorrow when Daniel Petrie, our money man from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors, joins us. One of the first questions I'm going to ask Daniel is, how is the Israeli-Hamas peace agreement going to affect the American economy, meaning your pocketbook? And it'll be day 9 of the shutdown. We'll also discuss that with Daniel. And again, as I always try to point out, the beauty of having Daniel Petrie on is not only his obvious economic knowledge, but his political savvy and his ability to tell us how the shutdown impacts you, whether you're a TSA or air traffic controller or a bus driver. He comes on every Thursday at 4:30. Hope you're with us. And if you're thinking about retirement, call him at 395-9400, 395-9400. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWAE, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, look, he dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Please meet Paul Sheldon's client, Marilyn Bull.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Bull. I heard of Paul Sheldon through my husband. So when I retired, I decided I'm going to go to him too. And I'm very pleased. The experience with Paul Sheldon has been great. Every question you asked, he had an answer for. He was patient and explained everything to where you could understand it. So I'm glad I had him to go to, because otherwise I would be confused. I would recommend Paul Sheldon to anybody because it is so much easier to go there and have someone actually show you and explain explain to you what your options are. And when you leave there, if you still didn't quite understand, you can always call and even make an appointment with you and rediscuss the whole thing. I also have recommended it to my sister. Thank you, Paul Sheldon, for all your help, and I wouldn't know what to do without you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
She used to be mine. She's so fine. They were a fun group. Santa Monica Civic Auditorium. Debbie Rosenbaum, Hugh Evans, and I forget who Hugh's date is. And I still owe him $50. You imagine going to a concert, $25 a ticket?
No.
20th century was a beautiful time, Jack.
It takes me $25 just for gas.
No kidding. $25 for parking to go to a concert now.
Oh, it's way higher than that.
And the cars were hot. That was considered an expensive ticket at the Civic Auditorium, 25 bones a piece.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that Howard only had to pay $75 a month for his apartment in Santa Monica.
Or that I lived in 1992 at the Edgewater, which is a beautiful, beautiful complex, in a furnished 2-bedroom apartment for $1,000 a month.
Jeez.
$1,000 a month. And it was furnished, and it was really nice. I love that place. I almost moved back there. Lori and I, when I moved in to where I am, Lori and I looked at that place at that time. And they were at I think it was like just a couple of $100 more than I'm paying now. But I don't like large complexes. I've never really lived in a large complex. I lived in the New Yorker. It's about probably the biggest complex I lived in. And I lived in a complex, well, the Edgewater is the biggest complex I ever lived in. And then I lived on West Wind. That was the dumbest thing I ever did.
Why is that?
They tried to, it was a condo that I was renting from a local family, and they loved me. They absolutely loved me because I was on television at the time, and they happened to watch 23. And they tried to give it to me for a song. I mean, they literally tried to give away this condo in the Southwest. And I was like, do you know who I am? I'm Ralph Bailey, budding television superstar. I'll be in Los Angeles in about 8 minutes. You can check me out on KCBS. Take a condo in Bakersfield? Like I'm going to be here for 30 years? Have you gone crazy? But it's probably a good thing because hey, I hate the Southwest, and they've got that. It's right. It was right behind that church over there by Fragotti's, or where Fragotti's used to be, and now they've got that hotel up there, and the Sully's, and the traffic is just hell. Would I be closer to work?
No.
If I was at
I'm sure technically by miles you probably would be.
I don't think so. How would I get to work from the Edgewater? I would come down Stockdale to California.
Yeah, either you can go Truxton all the way down.
Yeah, because there is a back entrance. Well, no, that's from the place I was living for Fragotti's. Yeah. If I was at the condo, oh, you're right. I'm thinking of Edgewater. You're right. The condos that I was thinking is a back entrance, and you just go down Truxton all the way to Mohawk, and then take California?
Roughly, yeah. If you wanted to go that route, or you can literally go all the way down to Oak and just cut back up.
Go all the way down Truxton to Oak?
I mean, if you want. Is that the right street I'm thinking of? Where the hill's at? Overpass.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So really, like if you wanted to cut it in that way or go all
But
the
you're
way
kind of
down,
going backwards, aren't you?
a little bit. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
I just come down Mohawk and then go down California.
that would be the drive, like
Yeah.
on the way there kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah. What you got on the board?
Let's see. Mary Marcus chiming in.
Yes. Hi, Mary.
She's actually chiming in for me. Chris, that was
No.
his share with 3 other roommates. I'm fully aware, but still $75 a piece is wild for somebody who's paying $700.
For how many roommates?
Me and one other guy.
So it's $1,400 for 2 bedrooms?
Yep.
That's not bad, Jackson.
Oh, it's not, but that's what I'm saying. I'm on the cheap end of it. Imagine what other people are paying right now.
Yeah. I have a buddy who's looking for an apartment, and I told him just take a legal pad and drive around.
Yep.
There are a lot of apartments that are open right now.
And a lot of them don't advertise online for some reason. You have to go to them or figure that out.
Yeah.
Like who lives there.
Yard signs. That's what I'm saying. You get a legal pad, you drive around downtown. I know at least 2 apartments that are looking for rentees as we speak. Not in my complex. I don't think anybody's going to leave mine. We've got the best complex. We've got the best owner. And I've even fallen in love with my real estate company, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. It's not their name. It's old. Where did I steal that from? I think I stole that from the
Mo, Larry, Curly.
the Three Stooges. Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Last half hour. It's almost game time.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The 2-year-old Gaza war may soon be winding down. President Trump says Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of his peace plan, which has been negotiated in Egypt this week. According to the Associated Press, Hamas will release all 20 living hostages this weekend as Israeli forces withdraw from the majority of Gaza. For the 6th time in more than a week, the Senate failed to approve a funding agreement. The government shutdown has now pushed into its 2nd week. The Internal Revenue Service initially planned to stay open during the shutdown, but now the agency will furlough half of its workforce. Most operations at the IRS were closed today. Wall Street rebounded from yesterday's losses. The Nasdaq jumped 255 points. The S&P 500 added 39. The Dow unchanged. This is SRN
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm John Shearer. The Bakersfield Police Department wants help from the public in identifying a man suspected in a vandalism case in southwest Bakersfield. Police say the man allegedly caused damage at a residence in the 5900 block of Foss Ridge Court in late August. He's described as 6 feet tall, about 20 years old, reportedly was wearing a black shirt over his face, black gym shorts, and white shoes. Anyone with information is asked to call the Bakersfield Police Department. California, with an average gas price of $4.64 per gallon of regular, represents the most expensive price in the U.S., according to the AAA. In Bakersfield, the current average price is $4.59 a gallon. A year ago, it was a penny more at $4.60. I'm John Shearer in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Got battery issues? Choose the #1 name in power, A1 Battery. We've got you covered with top quality batteries for every need. Cars, scooters, motorhomes, garage door openers, key fobs, golf carts, home alarm systems, wheelchairs, and so much more. If it takes a battery, A1 Battery has it. With multiple locations to serve you. Enjoy free diagnostics on batteries, starters, alternators, and electrical systems. Plus, get free installation with any purchase. First Friday of each month is free Key Fob Battery Friday. Family owned and operated since 1960. A1 Battery has been providing reliable, friendly service to Kern County. Need us in a pinch? We offer emergency services to make sure you're never stranded. Tell us you heard it on the radio and get 10% off your purchase. Call A1 Battery today, 589-1433 for the location nearest you, or visit online at a1batterycompany.com. A1 Battery, powering your world, one battery at a time.
On the next Armstrong and Getty show, man, is our estranged father country Britain screwed up. One of their leading politicians appears to be on the Russian payroll, and another one covered up a Chinese spy scandal to hold on to power.
And is Hamas going to actually say okay to this deal or not? How quickly is it going to fall apart? We'll have the very latest on that and all the other news of the day on the next Armstrong and Getty show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Charlie Kirk Show. Weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph
train?
No, that's the one motion of transportation that I actually kind of want to try.
I have never been on a train in the United States of America, but we traveled almost exclusively by train in Switzerland. And we also took a train from Paris to, I can't remember where we ended up. And then we took a bus from there to London. I went on one of the most, and it's just sad that it was at 17. I was just turning 17 that summer. I was going into 12th grade. It was summer for my 12th grade year. And it was a small group of us. It was a group of maybe 12 students. And you garnered points by your GPA, your class participation, and it was a big deal. And there was like an interview, and what would you do under these circumstances? And they brought it down to 24, and you had to get selected. And it got down to 12 of us, and my best friend John Tempero and I made it. And Jenny Linden, Hal Linden's daughter, was on the trip, and she was my girlfriend for 2 days. 2 days, Jenny Linden, Hal Linden, Barney Miller's daughter, was my girlfriend.
Still counts.
You're not going to ask?
I'm sorry. Why did it only last 2 days, Ralph?
Because she saw me in a drunken stupor the 2 nights that she became my girlfriend, and she was like, "You're ridiculous, and I'm not going to be your girlfriend." And I'm like, "We're in Europe. We can drink." Tempero and I would just, it was crazy. Tempero and I, one night at the age of 17, knocked off a case of beer in our tent and was up at 6 a.m. and canoeing. We went on this, part of the trip was, and I thought the best part of the trip was a 3-day canoe and kayak trip from Lyon, France, down the Ardèche River, or maybe it's the other way. Maybe we ended up in Lyon. I think that's where, yeah. I think we stopped and we would kayak and canoe all day long. We'd stop at around noon and have lunch. And along the Ardèche River are these hostels, these groups that just, you know, I don't know. Let's find out what a definition of a hostel is, shall we? Hey Siri, define a hostel.
Which word? H-O-S.
Establishment which provides inexpensive food and lodging for specific groups of people. Well, that's what it was. It was groups along the river, and we would go and meet these people and hang out with them at night. And this is when there's several fascinating stories that you will not believe. You just won't believe. So we go on this trip, and the bathrooms are basically closets with a hole in it. and they tell you got to get in like a catcher's
Squatting position,
and I couldn't do it. And I did not go to the bathroom for 9 days. It's the God's honest truth. When I told my father that, he accused me of lying. He said, that's physiologically impossible. And I said, well, then you should write us something in a journal because your son pulled it off. And the funniest thing I said to my dad, and again, like I've always said, the only time I ever made my parents laugh is when I wasn't trying to. And he was like, you're making this up. And I looked, we were sitting in the car, and I said, Dad, who would make up the fact that they didn't use the bathroom for 9 straight days? Like, do you think I think that you're going to be proud of me? It's just a fact. I'm kind of embarrassed by it. That's one weird fact. The second weird fact, and again, it's a story I've told 1,000 times. I could have lost my virginity on the banks of the Ordesh River. I met this, white French girl, whiter than this paper. And she was gorgeous, and she had this long black hair. And that's where the story gets funky. And we had been drinking all afternoon, and it was Tempero who came up to me and goes, dude, I think this chick likes you. And I'm like, really? And I started talking to her, and bada-bop, bada-bip, bada-boop. And I grabbed a bottle of wine, and we went down to the bank of the Ordesh River, and I stuck the bottle in the sand, let it get cold, and we laid back. We were just talking and everything, and I'm not sure if we ever made out. I think we did like kind of kiss. And then she laid back like this. And Chris, for the first time in my life, not only did I see a woman with hair under her arms, which really wouldn't have been so bad if she had had a little hair under her arms, but let me show you what it looked like. This is what it looked like. That's exactly what it looked like. She had an afro under each arms, and 17 virgin, I can't explain it, but I was like, I think I hear my friends calling me. I gotta go. And this is a true story. This is the best part of the story. This is how stupid I am. I swear this is how it went. It's getting late, and my friends are calling me. I gotta go. I'll see you. It was really nice meeting you. Bye-bye. Can't forget my wine. Swear to God. I got about 10 yards away from her. I was like, well, damn, I'm not giving her my wine. That's my wine. Went back, and she was all like, I was like, no, I'm just grabbing my wine. What's the matter with you? I'm not giving my wine. I don't know you. True story. And I was the best coxman. Not that kind of coxman. I was the best canoeer. I really was. And how do I know that? Why would I pat myself on the back? Because we had 2 guys that were our organizers, and they always picked me and Jenny Linden. We were still good friends even after she booted me 2 days into the trip. You imagine getting a girlfriend? We hung out on the plane. We landed. We hung out the first day in Geneva, and we spent the first day together. We spent the second day together. And I said something like, we should be boyfriend and girlfriend, something goofy, stupid. I had no game in high school. I mean, no game.
I don't think really anybody has game in high school.
Oh, no.
No. Some people,
No.
They have the beneficial traits and stuff like that.
John Tempero, we can get him on the phone right now, was half Korean, half French. And he looked like my cousins, who all had a crush on him, which pissed me off. And Sewsbury's daughters loved my best friend. And they thought he was Hawaiian because he had kind of a dark skin from the French side of him. And his eyes weren't slanted, but they weren't completely round. So everybody thought he was Hawaiian, and he had the big hair, and he was this quarterback, and he was this shortstop. And he stole Denise Williams from me, the only cute black girl at Buckley. No, Temp had game. In fact, on that trip, he was doing whatever he and Robin McGuire were doing together, and she was the hottest girl in our class that happened to be. And I remember at LAX, he told me, I'm hooking up with Robin McGuire. And I was like, you couldn't get 10 feet between Robin McGuire. And we land, and they're walking damn near hand in hand off the plane. And I'm like, that mother, a little 12-hour flight, and he's got her already. I think it's longer than that, but just one of the greatest experiences of my life. It really, really was. And why I didn't take advantage of that. Can you imagine if I could say I lost my virginity to a French girl on the banks of the Orange River? That's a great story. Instead, I was a sophomore in college who had my girlfriend had more experience than I did, literally.
And think of it this way, too, how different your life would have gone had you done that. Because, I mean, you are a high school kid. Your confidence level would have skyrocketed. You probably would have started all of what you did in college way earlier than that.
Which is not a good thing.
I mean, it kind of could be a good thing, too.
No, because I probably have a 40-year-old French African-American child.
You got to
You know what I'm saying?
You got to definitely.
I didn't have no condoms on me. No.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
But I learned quickly. Unprotected sex is no way to go. Should I tell the story?
I mean, you might as well. You already brought it up.
I'm a junior. I am interning at the Hilton Head Island Packet, living with my grandmother, and I meet this girl literally the third day I'm in Beaufort. I'm not even working at the Hilton Head Island Packet, and she's dating a drill sergeant at Paris Island, which is 10 minutes outside of Beaufort. And she's like, but I really don't like him that much, but he pays my bills, and she was that kind of girl. And I chased her all summer long. I was there for 3 months. And I left on August 1st. My birthday is August 3rd. And being the narcissistic, arrogant son of a gun I am, I threw myself my own going away party where I rented a hotel room, which was like, I swear I remember this. It was like $16. This is 1983 in Beaufort, South Carolina. I got a hotel room for $16. I invited my 3 cousins. They brought some girls, and I invited that girl. And we all just kind of hung out and drank champagne for some reason. I can't remember why, but I distinctly remember we were drinking Andre champagne, probably because we were broke. I don't know. And I hook up with this girl the last night I'm in Beaufort, and she gives me gonorrhea. And I call Ed Skelly, who was the smartest kid I knew, and he said, I said, I've got this discharge. And he said, Ralph, does it hurt when you urinate? And I go, no. He goes, then you're good. See, parents, this is why you got to have talk with your kids, because kids rely on other kids, and it's the blind leading the blind. And so after like another day, I'm like, no, this ain't normal. So what would the son of a physician naturally do? I thought it was a smart play. So I went to Dad. What a gargantuan mistake. I had no idea what would go. So he goes back and gets a piece of glass, tells me to drop my pants, gets my discharge on the glass, goes to his bedroom back in the day when they had microscopes. And he comes out of his bedroom. He's just like this. His head's just cocked to the side. And all he kept saying is, are you really that stupid? Are you really that stupid? And I'm like, what are you talking? You're down here running around 20 years old, having unprotected sex. If your mama's gonna kill you, you bring a baby back to this house. I'm telling you, she will literally kill you, Ralph. Stay here, I'll be right back. He goes to the hospital, he comes back with 2 freaking needles. He bends me over our living room couch, and I mean, he winds up. I mean, you would have thought he was Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and bam! And I'm like, really, Pop? Really? Really? I said it in my head. I didn't say it to my dad. And I go to my ankle spool. Oh, no. You're not done. And he goes with his left hand, and the next you're going to bam into my cheek. And I'm like, this man is trying to hurt me. I said it in my head. I didn't say it to my dad. And I pull my pants up and I get on the phone with Skelly and he goes, "You did what? You told your father, Ralph, you could have gone down to the county. They'd have given you 3 pills. It would have been over. What are you, stupid?" Well, obviously, I got the clap. What do you think? I'm a Phi Beta Kappa? And then the worst part, the whole freaking summer, every one of my dad's friends, every single one of them, "Hey, Sewsbury, ask Hugh Hefner what he's been up to this summer. Go ahead, ask him. Go ahead, tell him, Playboy. Tell him what you've been up to." I'm like, "Really, Pop? Really? Seriously?" I mean, every friend that came to the house. "Doug Seymour, have you really met a Playboy? You want to meet a Playboy? Meet Playboy Ralph Jr. Big Playboy. Run around, got no condoms, having sex at 20 years of age. What's the matter with you?" Like every single, it came to the point when friends would come over, I would sneak out the garage door and leave. Literally.
I thought my parents used like.
Oh, no. Ralph and Harriet were the guilt-ridden kings, boy.
My dad never yelled at me, but he always gave me that look of like, "I'm disappointed in you," and the guilt train.
My father never yelled at me. He used that kind of, "Hey, Suze, meet Hugh Hefner. Meet Phi Beta Kappa genius who run around just doing whatever he wants, don't care, run around getting diseases and whatnot. Probably got a baby somewhere in Atlanta, probably." And they would just look at me. I'd just be like, "I wish a bus would hit him." Not take him out, but just lay him up in the hospital for about 8 months. That's all I'm saying, God. Just lay him up. Just for 8 months. That's all I need. A little peace and quiet in the house. Final break of the night. It's game time. Game time. Game time. Dodgers Phillies in about 20 minutes. In the meantime, we'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. I'll stop talking about social diseases, and we'll wrap this thing up. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show.
So the city decides to put a.
Let's do the promo.
You're good to go.
I'll do a piece. Three, two. It's so incredibly difficult to take Hamas's word, but apparently Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire deal that's intended to end the devastating Gaza war, which I don't think it's even close. The Nobel Peace Prize winner is Donald John Trump, and it's not even close. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. Well, it's a Thursday. Michael Turnipseed will be here, Executive Director of Current Tax, along with our money man, Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors, and Jen Bowden, AGM's Event Director. She's going to preview our big Honor Flight fundraiser. All that and me at 3. It's TRBS, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. I'll see you at 3.
You want to try to knock out Agape too, or you want to?
Yeah, let me take a shot.
It's only a 30.
You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2. When the air just isn't right, call the team that gets it done right. Agape Air has been keeping homes comfortable for 18 years, locally owned, honest, friendly, and always professional. And who knows better than I? They serve my apartment complex. From smart thermostat help to service requests, repairs, replacements, and preventative maintenance, Agape Air is prompt, knowledgeable, and delivers quality you can trust. Don't sweat it. Call Agape Air at 661-399-6600 today. Agape Air. Comfort you can feel, service you can trust. Call them today, 661-399-6600. Long, too long?
A little long, but we can make it work.
And I kind of screwed it up. Didn't I kind of glitch a little bit?
Not really, but if you want to do it again, go for it.
Yeah, let me do it again.
This time, though, start with, "Hey, everybody, it's Ralph Bailey."
All right. And it's got to be shorter?
Yeah.
Or just quicker?
Like 5 seconds.
Three, two. It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Agape Air. You know, when the air just isn't right, call the team that gets it done right. That's Agape Air. They've been keeping homes comfortable for 18 years. Locally owned, honest, friendly, and always professional. And who knows better than I? They serve my complex. From smart thermostat help to service requests, repairs, replacements, and preventative maintenance, Agape Air is prompt, knowledgeable, and delivers quality you can trust. Don't sweat it. Call Agape Air at 661-399-6600 today. Agape Air, comfort you can feel, service you can trust. Call them today, 661-399-6600. Bam! Two-Take Bailey.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
What was the time?
Live in concert. The Arms
35, but when I cut out all the stuff, you'll be fine.
Okay.
2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey.
Guys don't have to sing, and I can still get the tension and the, I sing just to be comfortable.
Did we talk about him becoming the second stringer yesterday?
Yes, I mentioned it. That it's, I can't wait till he gets on the field. Remember we did the Dylan game?
Oh, that's right.
And I forgot I came up with one. It's funny. I was laying in bed. I was
Bob Dylan was the one that
No, but there was another one I found out last night. I was laying in bed and it just came to me, and I was like, why didn't I come up with that? Dylan Thomas, Dylan.
There somebody named
Bob
Dylan
Dylan.
Massey. Is that name ring a bell?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Starting to get a little nervous. Minutes away from game time. Let's clear the board and get Sando out of here.
Come on, guys. Ticket prices for concerts are comparable to what they were back then. A day's worth of work, 8 hours, would buy your concert ticket just like it would today. That is not true.
I don't think that's true either.
It's not true at all.
I don't think that's true either. It is
I'm
ridiculous.
kind of like just throwing this out there as somebody who hears this all the time. Y'all got to stop comparing how it was back then, money wise, to how it is now. It's not the same. It has not been the same for quite some time.
Well, that's life. I mean, yeah,
I know,
you can't
but
compare.
I hear that. Back when I was your age, all this stuff was like $100, but I was only making this much. I get that, but
The biggest thing that I can remember was being in high school and having $5,
right,
and going to McDonald's and having change.
Leaving with $3.50 or something like that.
No, not $3.50, but I think a quarter pounder was like $1.25.
Right.
I think fries were like 50 cents, maybe 75 cents, and a soda was 50 cents. You'd go in there with $5 and then you'd come out with $2.
It's to me, $20 is an adult dollar.
That $20 was my monthly allowance.
Yeah.
And I never had to oh, Dad, I need money, because all we did was go to movies, we went to matinees, which I think were like in the 70s and the 80s. I think they were like $2.50. I mean, I could take $10 and go to the movies and go to Swenson's, this was our Saturday ritual. We go to the UA Theater in the marina, and right next to the marina, the UA Theater, the marina, was a warehouse. We could buy I could go to the movies, Chris, buy an album, and get a cone at Swenson's as I waited for my uncle to come pick me up with $10.
That's what I'm saying. You cannot tell me that you can stretch money like that in today's day and age. You can't.
No. And the disparity has jumped so greatly, where it's like there's a difference between rich and affluent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a difference between living in a $250,000 house now, which back then was a middle-class house that everybody lived in, as opposed to a seven-figure house, which was the $200,000 house back in the 70s and the 80s. I told you, somebody told me that the house that I lived in, I didn't grow up in it, but my parents lived in it when I went off to college in Palos Verdes. I think they paid like $240,000 for that house. It's now worth almost $4 million. And I was talking with Kathy about this. I was thinking, God, even if my dad was alive as an anesthesiologist, I don't think he can afford a $4 million home. But I'm sure that obviously salaries of anesthesiologists have skyrocketed as well. But that's why Mamdani is such a hit in New York, because all he talks about is affordability, and he thinks he can bring back those 18 to 35-year-olds who are living in Greenwich Village or suburbs of Connecticut, Hartford, and they're driving into New York and living out on Staten Island, and they want to live in the city, and they just can't do it. And now Mamdani has convinced them, I'm going to come and make it all affordable. And you can live in New York City and ride your bike to your job and blah, blah, blah. Good luck with that. Let's see how that works out. All right, let's hope tomorrow, along with Mr. Turnipseed and Jen Bowden and Daniel Petrie, we're celebrating NLDS victory. But in the meantime, for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. We will wrap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Sweet. My God, I'll be here in 2 minutes.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The 2-year-old Gaza war may soon be winding down. President Trump says Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of a peace plan, which has been negotiated this week in Egypt. According to the Associated Press, Hamas will release all 20 living hostages this weekend as Israeli forces withdraw from the majority of Gaza. Another day, another Senate vote that failed to end the federal government shutdown, now in its 8th day. And in the halls of Congress, lawmakers were overheard squabbling about their stalemate.
They did. They're sitting in their basements in New York. With all due respect, you voted multiple times to keep the government shut down. Okay, the Republican members from Arizona.
I have no idea. I really don't, Randy.
So don't sit here and
I don't see how we lose with Yoshinobu.
There's also frustration among furloughed federal workers.
I just
Randy
don't see us
Irwin,
sweeping
president of
Phillies.
the National Federation of Government
I don't
Employees,
see us sweeping
says
them.
President Trump would be breaking the law when he says he may pick and choose which workers get back pay.
We are in a dangerous spot in this country when the president thinks that he can just, ignore laws that are written in plain English. That law that you must give back pay to federal employees